Men in California are planning to sue Fanimecon after getting lung infections from drinking foot juice sold by female cosplayers. The incident reportedly happened during Fanimecon 2026 in San Jose, where a group of female cosplayers began selling cups of red drink for $15. But the drink came with a strange twist. The women would place their feet inside the drink, and when a man paid, they would lift their feet out and let the liquid drip down from their feet for him to drink. The stunt quickly pulled in a large crowd. Many people paid to try it, and the cosplayers reportedly made thousands of dollars in just a few hours. But after the event ended, some of the first men who drank it began coughing heavily and feeling pain and discomfort in their lungs. After going to the hospital, they were diagnosed with fungal lung infections and told they needed to stay for treatment. Now, several of the men say they regret taking part and are preparing to sue the event organizers for medical costs. They argue that Fanimecon should have stopped the activity before it became a health risk. What do you think?
Okay.
I know you fucking lying, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Everything Is podcast. I'm your host, Chitty Bang. I'm here with my tag team partner, Chris the Most High. Jordan Rebel Ayatollah himself. Man, Chris.
White people, that's why y'all get this fucking label, boy. I can't.
Oh my God. That is insane, man. Fanimecon, bro. A lot of these guys be tripping over these women, tripping over these cosplays, but I think you're willing.
Bro, why you just don't go to a corn convention and then see if you can pay an ex worker? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you pay your hard-earned? I'm about to pay women at their most degrading to degrade yourself, young man.
It's insane. We're in an era where there's so much thing going on that I can't understand. I was gonna ask you, like, is there any woman in the world that you would have drank their foot juice?
It might be a me. It might be, but again, it gotta be a situation where, bitch, you ain't walking on concrete barefoot like you coming from the club either. You just standing there on a convention center floor, barefoot, waiting for a nigga to come by so you can put it in some icy water?
They looked like they were outdoors too. I don't know what they were thinking, but to be admitted to the hospital with multiple men having a chest infection.
No, fungus in the lung.
Fungus in the lungs, yes. Oh my God.
That mean that bitch feet was nasty.
I saw this story. I was like, all right, I just wanted to it's Friday, you know.
One of my biggest pet peeves as a man. Bitch, I don't give a fuck if I'm ashy. I don't give a fuck if my toenails curl. I don't give a fuck if the bottom of my feet is dirty. Your feet better not be. When I see, ain't nothing like, we all men. You in a grocery store. She got the motherfucking workout gear on. She just came from wherever, or she thinks she whatever. And you just glance, you're like, okay. And you look down at her bottom of her feet ashy. Dud. I can't even get the thought of you in my mind now with them dirty ass feet, bro.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not a feet guy, so I don't get the logic of doing this shit where you're drinking foot juice or being super critical of women's feet. Now, granted, if it's crazy, I probably would pick it up. But when I first meet a chick, I don't ever look at their feet. I just don't. I'm not concerned with that per se. You know, I don't know.
That's not a feet guy per se, but you can tell a lot about a woman about her feet.
Okay.
And the logic behind it is, if you as a woman are lotioning your skin and take the lotion and get your ankles and your heels And then that means you got to get the rest of your foot. So that means if you got a nice pedicure, if you got a little nice toe ring on there, like you know what I'm saying, if you got the French tip, that attention is almost like a woman with when her hands is done,
Yeah.
nails is done. If her knuckles ashy, you be like, damn, bitch, you work construction? Why your knuckles?
Man,
Why in between your fingers right here is ashy, nigga?
I could.
Why can I take a match and then light that bitch in between your fingers, though?
I don't know. Like when it comes to those things, I don't get me wrong. Like I might subconsciously pay attention to those things. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm not a guy who will overtly notice that. I'm more of like if your breath stinks, if your hair is unkept. The girls who I've been with, I think the hands and feet are like a prerequisite because everything else was good. Now, if a girl just lotion, I don't think I've been with a or met a girl where they just ignore the foot. You know, they've always got the ankles and the foot. You know, but so I get it, but I've been hearing people like, yo, they pay attention to that shit. Like, if your feet is not done, if your fingernails are not done, they do pick that up and they say, oh
You
yeah,
see,
it's like disqualifying as far as when you
and
picking
I'm
a
gonna
chick
be
up.
honest, a natural hands, you don't have to have your nails done. I don't mind a girl that don't have nails, even with the pedicure. Like if you paint your own feet, I don't even mind a little paint on your toe because you did it yourself. Like I'm not real peculiar about that. What I'm the what I'm so when you talk about stank breath, messy hair, I might not even approach the bitch because the messy bun fine because that goes with the aesthetic of if I
Yeah, that's
see
not bad.
yeah,
But like
if
if
I
you're in gym
see
clothes, I don't expect to see your feet honestly, because you should be in like maybe some like sneakers or
but that's
anything,
what I,
you know.
but
But if
that's
you're
what
in
I'm
gym
trying to
clothes
say.
and sandals,
You got the
that's kind
flip
of
flops, so
weird.
it's purposeful. That's my point. If
Yeah,
you put on the yoga pants and you put on flip flops and you going outside, that means bitch you gotta lotion your feet. That's intentional to me. Or I get you. Sometimes you in the house, you like shit. I need something from the store. You
Mhm.
wasn't really, you know what I'm saying.
You don't
So
give
I
a
get
fuck.
that.
Yeah.
Even then, I'd rather just come in your pajamas. Let me see that ass in the pajamas. Don't even put on real clothes. Let me see you in your pajamas and your furry slippers. So
if they
therefore, if I know your bottom of your feet is ashy, you just kind of you're just lounging.
if they come on kip, they probably don't want to get approached anyways. You know, it's kind
It
of
don't matter.
repellent. Yeah.
Bitch, mosquitoes still bite, nigga. I don't care how much spray you got on.
Yeah,
I'm about out.
but yeah, but to go to the lengths of like, oh my God, drinking foot juice is insane from some random chick at an anime convention. I think that speaks to like just desperation, bro. Like
No,
these
that's
guys.
speaks to you not. I mean, like you don't got no real friends, eh? Okay, this is like they say don't cast aspersions. Fuck that. I do what I want. You ain't got no real friends. Your daddy not in your life. You ain't never seen a vagina that was not on the screen. Because when you come out your mom's, your eyes closed, so you ain't even see that one. If you going to if you going to the Orlando's city convention or center, whatever the
Hmm.
fuck it's called, because it's gonna be some hoes and some anime costumes, and you trying to go see some hoes. I'm not mad at you about that, bro. That's fire.
Hmm.
Go see them hoes in that costume. Get an autograph. Take a picture.
Get a number.
Buy some
Talk to a
merch. Get her,
girl.
nigga. If you standing in line to drink foot water from a bitch that's been standing up all day, sweaty feet, mind you, you got to think about it. It's as natural as you taking a cup. Do I have one? I think I do. You just taking a bottle of water. This is her foot, okay? And you just dipping it in a pool, and you say, "Huh, you drink it." And the nigga drink it, and then you just dip it in the pool. You give it to another nigga. Are you drinking after another nigga? Matter of fact, are you drinking out of another nigga from the dog? If we in Castaway and we on an island and we in a deserted island and we find a canteen of water, motherfucker, and you drink and you go, here you go, bro. Pouring the rest of that water out. I gotta wipe the rim off, and I gotta go find some water.
But I don't even think they were just waiting in line. They were waiting in line. I think they were paying for this. They paid
I
to
mean, you
get a
gotta
fungus in their
pay.
chest.
Now with the women. Now I can't. You gotta pay. You gotta pay.
This is
Even if she gonna let you do some
crazy.
nasty shit, you gotta pay now.
This
You
is
know what I'm saying?
crazy, yo. And these anime chicks are getting it off. Like these little Asian bros, like, yeah, these suckers. I'm gonna take my bread and have these niggas drink my foot water. That's crazy to me. But yeah, guys, go out there, talk to a human being, talk to a real woman. And she was crowded, and I don't know how many men got that fungus, but that's so nasty, bro. That's so nasty. But yeah, we're here today to continue the talks of the media warfare. It's going to be media warfare part two today, and
What would possess a nigga to be like, yo, is she a celebrity? Now that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's some legit. Like when niggas name porn stars, I don't know nobody name. I don't know nobody. I just like if I go on the site or if I go on Twitter or something like that, I
yeah,
see what I like. I'm like, oh, she look good. Oh, she got that. Oh, she did. I don't know nobody. So like, if niggas say, yo, such and such is gonna be downtown, we about to go meet her. I'm just following a wave. The fact that I got like a notification, I bought a ticket. I motherfucker took the train, took the bus. I flew in for this shit, nigga,
yo,
to meet some little. I don't. Is she of age? You don't know.
that's a good question. That's a good
You
question.
know what I'm saying? Like you. She little anime shiny. Oh no, let me not. Asian girl, because right, we don't want to disparage. We don't know if she's Chinese, Japan, Thailand. You know, like we don't know.
Yeah,
So she's from Asia. They dressing up in a little skirts and a little high tie. You know, like
pigtails and shit.
yes,
Got the blue
it got
freaking wig
no,
on.
nigga, no, it got to be a
I
grown
think
ass woman.
I think
I got it.
what I think is going on with these guys is they watch anime, right? And anime is very, the way they animate these chicks is very sexual,
Oi,
you know?
oi, oi.
I I ain't even talking about that type of anime. But they have fantasies about these
Even in fighting though. Like you don't watch an anime, you don't punch the bitch. I do this way. Oi! Even when
Oh
she
my
fall,
God.
when Lee fell, ooh. She like, ah.
Think you've been watching Chun-Li? Nah, but like, yeah, I think you said they might not be very socially savvy. They may not be a guy who gets attention from women or able to, intimidated.
Nigga, you don't
And
get attention from nobody.
they get fantasies of these cartoon characters, and then they go to a con and they're like, oh my God, this woman dressed up as my favorite character. Now I'm gonna drink her foot juice,
I ain't gonna
and
hold
it ends
you.
up with them ended up in the hospital.
Meg Thee Stallion was Sailor Moon, cause before she got shot in the foot, she might have got me to drink it.
But what is that doing for you? That's my thing. Like, what is that doing for you, bro? Like,
Oh no. Bitches G spot might be your foot. If I lick the foot good enough, she might let me go up the leg. Now I'm there. I'm in the dough. You suck her toes good
that,
enough. Hit
that
that calf, go up to that inner thigh. Boy, you in there.
that's that's a Hail Mary shot. That's like a fantasy, bro. It's not real.
I watched Aaron Rodgers throw 3 Hail Marys back to back to back in a real football game to win it. Nigga, anything. Yeah, I was watching a compilation of Aaron Rodgers with the Packers. Nigga, he would just say, hike, turn around, and fling it. And nigga, Raph was catching it. Nigga, he was just throwing up. He was just throwing shit up there, nigga.
I mean, not every nigga is Aaron Rodgers, and
Hey, nigga.
these anime con niggas are not Aaron Rodgers. But because you gotta have some game,
You're
and you
right.
definitely don't start with you sucking the foot juice. I'm sorry. Like I mean, I don't want to judge him, but I hope they're all right.
What?
I hope they're
What?
healthy. I hope
What
they
you
got the
think
fungus
about
out
it?
their chest.
Women go to Chris Brown and pay $1,000 with hoping that she can. It's a lotto ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like they go to the Chris Brown concert and straddle that nigga for the meet and greet, just for him to be like, you know what? I was kind of soft. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you never know. You never know. You
Here's
never
the
you
thing. At least you don't get a foot fungus infection in your chest, and at least you get a picture. You get to take that with you. I don't see these these
no
women.
them niggas took something with them. It was fungus in the lungs, nigga. They definitely took something with them. That doctor bill is gonna be on niggas' credit report. On my soul, nigga. You know what a goddamn doctor bill do just to go in there to get some damn
But
nigga?
if you're that stupid to do this and get a foot infection in your chest, a fungus, I mean,
You're not too
then
far off from killing somebody as a psychopath. On me. You a nigga that'll do a manifesto and drive
but
across.
maybe,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
do you have the right to sue the entire anime con?
No, this is what Flock is for. Flock needs to prevent crime. This, you know what? I'm on their side. They say you can't prevent crime. Follow every motherfucking license plate that went from that convention center and figure out what the fuck they got going on. Cause you
Yo,
might be able to prevent some motherfucking crimes from them
you-
niggas. On my soul, bro.
listen, man, it's fucking weird, bro. Do you think they have the right to sue the entire con?
You can try it, nigga. We in the age of, you know what I'm saying? We sue for battle lyrics, Kendrick Lamar sued Drake to take the he told Tupac Estate to sue Drake. Nigga, everybody
Oh
sued.
God,
You
here
know.
comes the propaganda. Kendrick did that, right?
Well, I mean, who else called the Tupac Estate?
I think Tupac Straight didn't need their goddamn. So why would they? That's fine. They don't know what's going on. It's the biggest rap out in their city.
The Tupac Estate who
Do you
he
think
got
that Kendrick has to
he said,
tell them to do that? Though? Like that sounds stupid to me. Do you think
I'm
Kendrick Lamar has to go tell them to do this?
to
Just
tell
like
to
let's what's his name? Luther Vandross. His estate. No, Marvin Gaye. His estate is very aware of every time he's used, his likeness is used, and they
but
will
Marvin
sue
Gaye is
immediately.
more litigious. With
Huh?
Marvin Gaye estate is more litigious than Tupac.
But
All I'm just
how
saying,
many times people are using Tupac's lyrics? Like his voice. I mean, how many times people are using Tupac's music, much less his voice, his actual voice.
but he wasn't.
I don't see people doing that. Like
But this is
that.
what. Okay,
So
so
I don't
okay,
think
so
I'm not putting that on Kendrick. Like that's
but
crazy.
the reason. I mean, okay, so this is what now. Okay, the awareness of Tupac's estate. Excuse me, with all the money that is made, can't get the ring. Can't,
Get
like,
the
you know what I
what?
mean? Like the ring, the Tupac ring or whatever that allegedly was
I
bought or whatever.
mean,
What
they
I'm just saying.
probably. I'm not. I don't, They probably put it on sale for a reason. Probably was theirs.
Well, the only reason
To give up in the first place.
that's what. Well,
Obviously they don't clearly want the ring, but they don't want people using their father's voice or, their family's voice of their of Tupac. It's
respect.
not that crazy, but I think a lot of Drake
AI.
stands will say, "Oh, it's Kendrick did it." I'm like, nigga, what? Kendrick did not sue,
I
but to just to counteract what Drake sued for, y'all want to make something. I'm like, oh well,
no,
Kendrick
I
told
didn't
them
say
to sue.
Kendrick. I didn't say
Kendrick, no,
Kendrick.
no, I know Kendrick told them, but rather than putting it on them suing or them saying doing not even suing, it was like a cease and desist. Um, they are going to then say Kendrick told them to do it, which is there's literally no credibility to that claim. You know,
Respect. I know it wasn't a cease and desist for Mortal Man. You know what I'm saying? I guess it was more tasteful, or whatever the case may be. But if somebody has an affinity for somebody, I wouldn't see why that person wouldn't be offended to how it was used. I would. That's not too far fetched.
what? What do you mean?
Nothing.
Okay, sorry, I was
Don't
confused.
worry about it. Don't worry about
Uh,
it. Kendrick does no wrong. You're right.
I
West
know
Coast niggas be
that is
faded as wrong.
definitely
Nigga come
definitely
out of
not
that
what I
house.
said.
That's just what that's my interpretation of what was implied. You didn't have to say it. We just got our own
Kendrick
interpretation of what
does
you meant
no
to say.
wrong. I just don't want him you throwing shit on his jacket because Drake did it, you know. And now like, oh, just to Drake.
Oh,
So
you're
now we
right.
get
Let's
to
not throw stuff. Let's not throw stuff on people's jacket. You're right. Let's not do that.
yeah.
West Coast niggas do phase, right? Going on,
Listen, if you got some, if there's something that he did that you got some evidence, you got some proof. Yeah, cool. You got some like
I mean, just throwing
logical.
on jackets, just throwing on jackets, cause you saying I mean, whatever you say, bro, I got you. I got you. Just, I mean, I don't. I mean, jacket smearing should not be something that should, as you call stands, right? Should not be something that stands should be complaining about. If we smearing jackets, we smearing jackets. That shouldn't be something that it should be
But
across the
you,
line.
what about you? Like that's what like
Right?
you said Kendrick did this. It's like me and you, I don't look at it as the typical stand. Like, so I figured more from you to be like, yeah, Kendrick told the Tupac estate. Like I think you know better. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I'm just saying,
I think you're more I think you
why can't I repeat propaganda just like propaganda of pedophiles being not Drake being a pedophile, but the people around him being a pedophile,
listen, you can
right?
do what
Like,
you want, and you did. So I'm gonna be like,
so
no, that makes no sense. Like that's all that's happening.
I get it.
Like,
It may not make sense to you, respect, but I mean, I'm just saying, like,
to
for
me,
some,
I think you're a man of some level of integrity that I think that you can see what went down in that battle and be like, yeah,
all we
this is a
just talking
stretch.
about is that if a nigga said, "Hey, I don't like what's being done," what that's I guess that's too far fetched to believe on one side than from another. Because Drake easily can do it, right? He don't like what's being done, and he can go run his mouth and act like a bitch and say something, because that's just his character. That's only one person has whole like qualities in the battle. So I mean, that's respect from what I'm saying. Like all I'm saying is that if one is capable of doing it, another's capable of doing it. That's kind of like what how Charlemagne is being brought in the light right now, and the regurgitation or the rebringing up of his past atrocities, as he was someone on national radio, kind of, and he has transformed himself. He's now being, he's Black Effect, $200 million man. Charlemagne is far beyond his 2009 tweets of saying, if I was R. Kelly, I would look at Sasha and Malia as well. Like he's far
Did that?
beyond. Yeah, that's yeah.
Like
He
I'll be honest with you. Like I remember Charlamagne from the Wendy Williams show and all that stuff, and I remember him going crazy on people. Like, and then once he got his show, he started going crazy on people. I remember the way he talked to Buffy the Body was just sick. Like, he just was really going in on her for no fucking reason, right? Um, he was just really mean spirited, He's gone to therapy. He's grown up a little bit, right? But I did not hear a lot of the stuff that's going on with him. Like, listen, like we weren't even supposed to talk about this, but you're bringing it up. But like when I hear these stuff, like I want to ask a question real quick,
Mhm.
especially in today's day and age. Can a man outrun his past?
No, your past is your past. That's not just a man, that's a woman as well. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm Cam Newton just had Funky Fridays with Carisha, Young Miami, and in that he spoke to his past comments about women with multiple kids from multiple men, and how that impacts people around him, as he doesn't understand the gravity of or the influence of his voice. Right, he's now becoming into the media warfare, media war. Right, he's coming into the space of polarizing figures as himself as an athlete. You can only transition to a polarizing media figure if that's what you choose to be, unless you just quiet, ride off the sunset, own a couple businesses, just chilling out. So when he makes that comment, he then is now saying, I will have to live with that forever because that was said into the ethos.
Like, time
Right?
out, time out. Do you have the clip of this? Because I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Because if we
So I have
do, if
it.
we're gonna have a conversation, I know it's Friday. We're just going over the place. I would like to
The
show
clip
the
of what?
audience what you're talking about, whatever you want to talk about. Honestly,
Well,
you know,
I mean, the clip.
because you
I
because you
mean,
brought up because I was talking about a man outrunning his past. You brought up a
and
clip.
I'm the
You
he,
brought up
yeah, yeah,
Cam Newton, and I was talking about obviously referring to Charlamagne. But if you have the Cam Newton clip or Charlamagne, whatever
but
going on, I would like to show it.
the the
But if
reason why I'm saying that, the reason why I'm saying that about the past is that that's just very recent past. That
yeah,
like what he said of multiple women having multiple women having I'm sorry, women having multiple children with multiple men. He don't look at that woman as valuable. He spoke and has said that he deems that woman less valuable. That's what he said. He
let me
has
ask you a
now.
question. What do you think about that comment?
What do you mean? That's stupid.
Okay.
Like
I mean,
I mean, like
you're a married man though. Like, you're a
I
married
mean, but
man. You have your own kid. You have your kids. One woman. Boom. But let's say for a guy who's not married, right? Like myself, and I have a choice of a mate, and there's one woman who's cool. She has three kids by three different men. Got one woman who has she's cool. She's a single mother by one man, and then I got another girl who is cool, single woman, no kids.
mhm.
And I'm talking to them, and who like when we talk about value, I don't want to say valuable because valuable comes
But
gives a context
that
of you're less worthy.
and
But
that is the
I think
point.
what he's
So
getting
you can
to,
have your choice, though. You can
yeah,
have your choice.
exactly. I think what he's speaking to is who is a single man likely going to give more of his time to, given the history of the woman and understanding, like all right,
And that's fine, but that's why I said and that's fine because we got to the point of the crux of the conversation where you said, "Can a man outrun his past?" And I said no immediately because I put that as a people because a woman's
but yeah, when I
past
said man, I meant
impacts.
human
Yeah, but
race,
that
but
I
in
know,
that way. But you're right, woman, man, again,
but
yes,
that's why I connected the two. I
yeah,
know we was talking about Charlemagne, but that's how I connected the two because I was
okay,
just so
got you,
fresh.
yeah,
Women's past or how they have lived their life previously to the choice of meeting a mate, to your point, impacts that woman. So her past,
the
she
image,
cannot
yeah,
outrun. She can't
yeah,
outrun the past. I got my kids, I got my bag, I got whatever. That's my past. As a man, also multiple baby mothers, not present in the kid's life. We talk about future all the time. Can he outrun his past? I don't know, cause he's still fucking bitches and getting them pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
but
Like, but
here's the
oh,
thing,
go ahead.
like is just because you're fucking bitches and getting pregnant, is that
No, that's
outrunning the
not. No,
past?
that's
You
not you
know,
outrunning your past. No, that's what I'm saying. That's a nigga repeating himself,
cycle, yeah,
and that's what somebody's
yeah,
repeating the cycle. And women, that's the point of the valuableness. I think this is the point of value that Cam probably was trying to place upon. And Carisha Polk spoke to it. She said, I got multiple kids by multiple men. If I want a third child, when I or if I have my third child, I know now from my past mistakes of who I will be fathering with. Because that will be whether it's based on if that relationship is solid or makes it through or not. I need to know what type of father you are. Because the past two kids
uh-huh,
that I have, she said it was her high school, her childhood lover. She met him at 9. They grew up in the project together.
uh-huh.
They grew up together. She had her first kid at 19, 20. He passed away. She said she didn't have her second child. She thought she was in love and everything like that. Everything happened. She got pregnant, had a child. That did not work out. So now she's a single mom with 2 kids, 2 different baby fathers. So she's like, the next man that receives me will clearly know I got 2 kids,
Uh-huh.
will clearly have to take me and my 2 kids. And if I decide to bear another child with that person, my goal is marriage. My goal is to have a family. My goal is to make it all encompassing. And if that does not happen, I need to then now know that that man will be a part of that child's life because my past mistakes allowed me not to have fathers in my children's lives, right? So I think you can learn from your past, but you can't outrun from your past. And I
Yeah,
think if I'm speaking about with Charlemagne, bringing it back to him, he can learn from his past, very much so. But outrun it, To your point, we remember Wendy Williams days. We remember early Power
Uh-huh.
105 days and the Breakfast Club when he made women uncomfortable. He made like you physically saw women uncomfortable with him
Uh-huh.
during interviews of how he would make jokes about their titties or wanting to do the same thing as foot fetishes or like or when we open like Charlemagne was a creep.
Sniffing seats and shit. Yeah.
Nigga, he admitted to
Weird.
his wife during the he admitted that his wife of right now, which I will play the clip if you want me to, because I have it, or I'll go find it. So it's not just me talking; it's in Charlemagne's voice. It's Charlemagne telling the story of the wife that he has right now. When he was dating earlier in life, she got past pissy drunk, and he had sex with her while she was drunk.
Yeah.
In all facets of life, that ain't it.
It's not. It's not.
That ain't never.
It's
That ain't
not.
never been. That ain't never been. That ain't
It's
never been
not.
it. That ain't never been it. So for him to be a champion,
Shit.
for him to be a voice, for him to be a pivotal figure, for him to be a tastemaker, for him to be a gatekeeper, yeah, I think it's justified for the past to regurgitate to resurface itself to see if we are going
Life.
to back to jackets. If jackets are going to be smeared, if things are going to be put on my jacket, whether we got evidence or logical or we can put things together and make cases, this hardcore out your mouth documented facts of what all Charlemagne has did. And it's not just that. He's done
Yeah.
other things, he's done other things. So it's not even just that story.
But here's the thing. When we talk about media warfare, all this is resurfacing again due to one aforementioned DJ Academics. He
DJ Academics.
he's going to he said he's gonna he's ready for war, and he played all these clips of Charlemagne saying these horrendous things on the one on his his stream, his live stream. And I'll be honest with you, I did not hear this stuff before. He's making jokes about the R. Kelly tape where he peed on
Yes.
the young lady who was like
I learned how to eat
14.
ass from that tape.
Yeah,
I learned how to eat ass about
he
like, come on, bro.
yeah,
That was a teenager, and and you're telling that story as it's not me and you, bro. Me and you during that time, we were of age of that girl. We were of that age of that girl, and if we learn how sexual things happen because that ended up being on a porn tape or whatever the case may be, that was a grown man during that time of that tape. From what I understand, even if it's early 20s, that's a grown man. Nigga, I was 10, I think. 11. I'm a boy.
yeah.
So me saying I learned how to eat ass from that tape,
He's
I
10 years
can
older than
fucking say
us.
that.
Yeah.
So
So,
if I saw that 10 or 11, you saw that 2021 in his voice.
oh my
Let's
goodness.
hear
The fact that it's most disrespected woman in America historically has always been the black woman. If you want to get away with murder, kill a black rapper. If you want to get away with sexual assault a young black girl. If R. Kelly had been doing this to white women, oh my God. The fact that it's mostly young black girls that he preys on, simply nobody cares.
That's not true. And I don't like that racial narrative because Woody Allen, my guy, right? He about to be front row at the Knicks game. That camera gonna pan over to his ass on ABC, ESPN, and Disney, and y'all Google Woody Allen and see what the fuck come up first. Okay? It don't matter if it's young black women, young white women, trafficking of young Asian women, the trafficking of young Latino women. This country do not care at all. That is a
I
general. That
think at
is
the
a
time though, it was way um I think sexual assault in general has become way more of a topic that we're a little bit more sensitive to as time gone on. I think back then
Mhm.
a lot of, especially if you're a celebrity, were getting away with a lot
Absolutely.
of weird affinities with young girls. and I think it's super inappropriate. Um, and
I'm-
I feel bad because like if a man does change, and we've seen John Maine advocate for mental health and better things for men and women, and but he at the age of maybe 28 was still you know a bit of a asshole. Like, rest real. Like those comments that he has made are well, not the ones on the documentary before, like on Twitter, are shit you would find in a roast, right? That's like, but they're jokes, but you would find them in a roast that is it's like you said, cringy. Like that's kind of going crazy. I don't think that they can even get that off today in a roast. Back then you could.
Um, I mean, I don't see why not, nigga. They talking about George Floyd. Shit. I mean, I know, and the reason why I don't like the apples and apples comparison is
Yeah,
that
you're right. They do.
like they like you.
But like Chelsea Handler said, she said rape is not funny, and neither is death. So she's like, you those jokes you couldn't you shouldn't be making on a
Yeah.
roast even. So it's sick because you look at the man, you're like, okay, are you really better? Are you really changed, man? So to some
Or
degree,
did you or did you just get some paper and
yeah,
clean yourself up a
clean
little bit?
yourself up because now you can be a liability for or a brand risk, you know. And a lot of these brands, because if I didn't know these were his tweets and these comments, and I'm like, and I watch the Breakfast Club, and every now and then, I'll see an interview of his or whatever, then I know these brand names, like, these companies probably did not see it. I think you know, they see his
Which I
motion.
think no, I can't really argue that, man, because Charlemagne and the height of Charlemagne, Breakfast Club and the height of Breakfast Club, when you get signed to iHeartRadio, you can't tell me Twitter, Facebook, social media presence, what you're doing isn't something that is picked up on through your legal department of a conglomerate, right? This is
You will be surprised that how much people will ignore something, even if they found it, if the bag is right, if it makes logical sense. We need a black podcast. We need the best person to do it on Netflix. Who are we gonna go with? Charlemagne, we've seen him on CNN, we've seen him on E, we've seen him on VH1, we've seen him on MTV. He's been in the media space for ages. He's worked radio, he's worked television, TV shows, hosting, all types of stuff. And they're already doing the show, the video on YouTube, and we see the numbers on YouTube. Let's get them and let's put them on Netflix. I don't think they're thinking that far. Let's go to 2010 and watch his tweets. I don't think that these companies have that much moral compass, anyways. I think that hey, the public are not talking about it. We shouldn't make it a big deal.
well, when the public's not talking again, you're talking about Netflix as of right now. Shit, I'm talking. I'm then. Like when he get when Power 105 gets to deal with iHeartMedia, and then you spin that off and you get the Black Effect, and that's part of iHeartMedia. Yet, like the conglomerate of Charlemagne is within this 15-year window. So for niggas to pull the Oscars away from Kevin Hart from a homophobic tweet in 2009, 2010, 2011, I ain't really trying to necessarily hear about niggas got morality when it matters the most. And I think to the point of
But
where
usually it comes with a campaign, a structured PR campaign to take somebody down.
well, Charlemagne was a coon before then. So Charlemagne got his first bag and he was a coon. Can we all agree to that? If we can give that name to Jason Whitlock, we give that name to
Why do you
Stephen
call
A.
him coon?
Smith.
Because I just want to know like the definition from your
Charlemagne,
perspective.
Charlemagne, Charlemagne was not a coon during the Wendy Williams days, and he wasn't talking down on the black artists, and he wasn't being coon-like behavior, making these tweets, actually being employed at the time on the radio station. That's not coonish a little bit, or we just that's no.
Um, I think he's a jester. I think I've never thought of it that way, and I get you. I think that if you make a joke against black people, it doesn't just make you a coon. I think that you doing it
Your
for the
actions,
purpose of
your
a
actions,
company and
your
and
actions of that.
huh?
The act that Charlemagne as an act was to promote black people or diminish black people.
I think he was just cutting on everybody at the time. I don't think it was, but I think obviously the majority black people because it's on a black radio station. But I'm not
Was
trying to
it
cape for the nigga. I'm just telling you how I think.
no
I'm not trying to
no
cape
the
for the
re-
nigga at all.
the
If you think he's a
only reason
coon, you can think he's a
no
coon. That's fine.
the only reason why I'm saying that is because the reason why I brought that up is because we cast aspersions on Stephen A. Smith because proportionally of who he talks about is black athletes, right? Of course he doesn't say nothing about hockey. Of course he doesn't say about baseball. They don't watch them sports. And
But
honestly, those are not money sports that drive. iHeartRadio, they have they are that was a hip hop show. They didn't do country. They didn't do rock. They did black people all day, every day.
but if
And
he's
that
if
nigga
there
is
but if a conversation came up with like a white athlete or no a white musician like he has heat with Taylor Swift. He like he's done that too. That's why or Justin Timberlake. He's roasted them too. So like that's why I always have not looked at him that way. I don't look at it as one sided. I don't look at it as like, oh, you're just gonna choose black people and then lift up the white people, as if they're
I look
completely
at no,
absolved of any
not
type of wrongdoing, or
being
jokes.
being a jester at the behest of black people and getting paid off of it. That's coonish to me. That would be you said give you the definition. That's my definition. To be a jester, as you call him, I'll take it. He's a jester
Mm.
and he got paid majority of nigga. He didn't get motherfucking viral YouTube clips talking about Justin Timberlake or Taylor Swift. He got YouTube viral by motherfucking his interviews with
But just
Soldier
because
Boy
just because it
and
didn't go
Birdman.
viral doesn't mean he didn't do it.
Respect,
That's what I'm trying to say.
respect, respect.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of how I look. I'm just telling you how I look at cooning behavior. Cooning behavior is very specific. I don't think everybody that makes a joke about black people is a coon. I don't think I think that
I
certain
just say
people
jokes.
or makes money making jokes is a coon. In my opinion, there's a lot of people that make jokes about black people that I'm like, oh, that was actually funny. But I don't think it's every single one is doing it to browbeat black people and put them in a place so that but then when a white person comes around they completely lift them up and say no this is perfectly fine and ignore white conversations and then over time obviously he has become a person who's tried to uplift black media faces and talk about black conscious issues in America, and I've seen him do that repeatedly and stand by that, and that's why he's been invited to CNN to have these conversations or on Bill Maher, and to hold people true to power in politics. So on some level, he's garnered some respect because he has done that as well. I don't see Stephen A. Smith doing that. Actually, when he does talk politics, Stephen A. Smith, it's obviously coon shit. But same with Jason Whitlock, so that's the difference for me. But if you see it as that, I mean, that's your opinion.
No, I mean that's that again. When you clean yourself up, that's what happens.
But is it honest? And that's the thing. To me, I've seen
Soaking with
enough
your
with him.
nose better.
I've seen enough of him, like
Over how
over the.
long a time?
This
Over how
is
long a time?
going back to at least 2016, where I think he's made a change. Now that's when like around before I moved to Florida because I didn't like him at the time. I just didn't like him. But then I started seeing how things acted after Trayvon Martin and how he responded to that. And how George Floyd, not George Floyd, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, and he made it a prominent thing to talk about these things on the Breakfast Club and push it to and not to ignore these conversations. He would have people call up and they'll discuss it with him. So. It seemed like he genuinely believed this stuff. It wasn't like he's just trying to put on a show, and you don't have to push that stuff. It's a choice. Then after that, he comes out with his book, so Black Privilege, I think it's called. Then he came out with another book and started to really blow up after that, so I've seen his rise, and I think that he genuinely has changed his antics, and he wants to bring black people together and improve black people's lives. So I can't put him on the coon, because of what he's proven over a course of time. Whereas just Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith over a course of time has proven that that's not the same. That's not the case, of consistent, narrative of supporting, and how you talk about black people. But hey, I hear you, bro. If you want to hold him to who he was in the past, and I can't. That's why I'm asking: can a man outrun his past? That's why
I
I'm
mean,
questioning it.
that's the reason why. Again, so I sent you Lebertard earlier. I don't know if you watched it or whatever the case may be. Of Lebertard's first, Pablo Torres finds out
You
first
sent it? Where'd you
episode about
send it? Because it was
it's
in what's that?
in the Google Drive. It's in the Google Drive.
Oh, it's in the Google Drive. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's on YouTube, but I just sent the link. But in that episode, we spoke about it a little bit, but they unraveled or unfurled old episodes of Dan Le Batard's show on ESPN Radio, interviewing Donald Trump, instigating Donald Trump winning, endorsing Donald Trump winning, had month-long bits as if Stu Gatz, the co-host of the radio show, were Donald Trump, and this will be who's running the country. And again, the in kind, the joke was, look, an idiot, a buffoon will be running the country. How amazing would that be for him to just destroy the whole thing? I
That's
want
the running joke.
anarchy.
Yeah.
And you're running from your past as a exile, as a descendant from exiles from Cuba, as you see your countrymen of South Florida endorse a guy that wants to deport them.
And how?
And you are, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say. And where does he stand today?
He's fucking mind boggled of how this can be the country that he. But at the end of 10 years ago, this was the country that you wanted to see experience this, right? Like you wanted to. And so when he's right now crying to the clouds of he's killing democracy and he's getting rid of press and he's getting rid of media and when you are a prominent figure at the biggest network and the biggest drive home slot of 4 to 7 on ESPN, that's prime time for ESPN Radio. That's prime time. That's that 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock drive time on the radio during that time. This is at the infancy stages of streaming. The people still use radio. People still had a Sirius XM going to the channel. You had massive people listening to you. You had massive influence. You had a massive platform. And to the same point of what you said about Charlemagne having Hillary Clinton on his platform, where the bitch felt comfortable to bring hot sauce and pull it out of her motherfucking purse. Can't forget about that. That's where the hot sauce in my bag swag came from, nigga, on his platform. Killed her whole motherfucking campaign because she felt like she had to placate to the motherfucking niggas. Because at the time, guess who was top nigga over there? Charlemagne the motherfucking guy. Guess who had
he
the ear of the black?
Grilled him.
Yeah.
And he also grilled Biden. But hey, you can't control what the fuck they do. Like Joe Biden went on there, and where Joe Biden went on there and said, "If you don't vote for me, you're not black." And guess what? He won. So at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can't hold him accountable for her pulling out hot sauce. I'm sorry, but you can hold Dan Le Batard accountable for making a joke about Donald Trump and desensitizing the realities of who he is, in my opinion. Now, if Hillary Clinton was, out here saying, yeah, I just grab niggas by the dicks, if she was out here saying, yeah, all types of crazy crazy shit before the election, and having a history of racism in her past, which I'm sure she probably does, but overt employment racism when it comes like that, and you still are going to get hired, and weird creepy shit with the Miss America or Miss Teen USA, conversations, and then I had a radio show, and I tried to desensitize people and make a joke about Hillary Clinton every single week and say, yes, Hillary Clinton's going to ruin the world, and I want Hillary Clinton to come. Yeah, then I think Charlamagne, if that was me and Charlamagne, they have a right to be, to be offended, like, and to be guilty, and I think that what Dan Le Batard is going through is a bit of a repentance, and Ark, you got to repent for what you did, and your voice, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to um put people in a box or anything, but a lot of Cubans are very, very conservative, very Republican. A lot of Cubans came from Cuba and they got amnesty. So they're not going to be deported. So they don't give a fuck about Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans possibly getting deported. And they will be like, yeah, get them immigrants out because I'm okay. I have amnesty. That's their perspective. So I will not. I knew there was something about Dan Le Batard that I forgot. And I think I kind of, now that you're saying it, I kind of remember this Donald Trump era, 2016, where he was one of those people, and I think I got a sentiment that, yeah, he's Cuban. I get it.
Well, I mean, but even then, that wasn't that's not really all encompassing, because you got to think about it. When Obama lifted the embargo, right? They wanted to have MLB baseball in Cuba. They wanted Dan, because he was on ESPN, to go. He refused to go because his mom said, "I'm never going back to
Better
Cuba
Cuba, yeah.
if Castro's still alive. You gonna lift the embargo." So like Dan, again, when he's looking at politicians, that's where he was coming from when Donald Trump was running for office. He was like, Obama, like like you seem to understand, but you don't. For you to lift the embargo, for you not to talk to real Cuban, like you said, people who are amnesty but are here, but not people who left things. This dad,
But
this
and
dad.
this is where I always sorry, finish what you're saying. Why don't you finish? He's
I
dead.
was just
What?
saying, exiles. Like exiles is a difference of a refugee and an exile, right? I'm leaving nothing to come. I'm leaving everything to come,
Yeah.
right? And when you have those distinctions of people who left everything to come here, they have a different sense of you are my savior type thing. And when that savior of America seems to be, like in an abusive relationship, if you were to tell your best friend or somebody, a confidant in that's supposed to save you and bring you in, that this person is abusive and I'm coming here for sovereignty, right? But one day I come out my bedroom and you're having coffee with them or tea with them, that will make me feel some type of way.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I
But
think
my
that
whole thing is I find it really interesting when I hear people say that's the reason why I went to Trump because of this thing the Democrats did, and it'd be something like lifting an embargo or something like that, and I'm like, okay, but then you go to this guy, like you go to a complete racist, you go to a guy who says he's gonna grab one by the pussy, like is that the best alternative to your choice? Like me, I went to Bernie Sanders, bro. Like he didn't win, granted, got it, yeah, but I didn't like Hillary Clinton either. Like I'm gonna be with you, bro. Like I did not like that bitch either. But I'm not saying okay, the option to go to is Trump, and I think people have to be a little bit more like conscious and aware of like, all right, just because you have a problem with this part of the Democratic Party doesn't mean that everybody's a saint. And putting them in a box and saying I don't vote any type of Democrat because I feel like the Republicans have a guy that's saying all this wild shit and he's just
well,
fun. And I seen him on The
well,
Apprentice.
let's be fair. Dan didn't vote Trump. Dan also was making fun of Trump, but in doing so, it's also making a mockery of making a mockery of the
So he
democracy.
didn't vote Trump in 2016.
No, he didn't vote for Trump in
Okay,
2016.
but the show he was trying to say a running joke with Trump, and he said he had him on the show multiple times, right?
Yeah, he's been Donald Trump. Donald Trump had, again, prior to 2016 and up until 2016 before the election, before he was the GOP nominee. Up until that point, he was a celebrity appearance on ESPN Radio, right? Like he wasn't deemed any harm until like he was running, and Dan is like, what are we doing? Like, that's like if Stu Gatz is running for president. Like, you know what? If he's running, fuck it, let him win. You nominee, he's the nominee. Fuck it, let him win. I want to see anarchy. Like, that is in the tonality of what he's saying. But to your point, it's still dangerous. And the reason why Dan is brought up and mixing in with Charlemagne is because the atonement or the repenting, or even when, say, Charlemagne lightening the skin, he not as dark around the face. Like, when you are trying to polish up your image, there is never really a true sincerity behind it unless it's sincere, and we will never know, right? So as Charlemagne is making this change in 2016, right, and then we're also seeing the pivot of Stephen A. in 2016. Let's just use those two parallels. The way that Charlemagne goes and the way that Stephen A. go, the elevation of the two are the same. They're both media conglomerates right now in the same sphere. We watch them go different directions in the same time frame, and we say, I don't fuck with him on this side. I don't fuck with him, but we say, I don't fuck with what he doing on this side. I don't like the. But when we peel back prior to BC of 2016, there was never really a time where I say, I don't fuck with what Stephen A.'s doing. And there was definitely a time when I'm looking at Charlemagne and I don't really fuck with that name. So
It switched.
there is a totalness that we then look. So when I'm looking at Charlemagne, I see where you come from. I see you come from Shock Jock. I see you come from Wendy Williams. I see where you made your bones at. And I see where Stephen A. I see you came from HBCU. I see that you came from journalism and you had to really make your bones. So there's some ethic, there's some code, there's some morality in Stephen A. that I feel like now is the jester clothes that he puts on. The thing about Charlemagne is that I think he's cleaning up himself and the makeup. So I don't know. And those two are similar to me. That's why I asked about the Coon stuff, because it was definitely a time before 2016 of the pivot shift of when there's political civil unrest in the country, where Charlemagne, and to your point, being a jester and speaking truth to power and stuff like that, what Charlemagne is doing right now, clearly what we speak about isn't the easy thing to do, but it's the easy thing to do. And I'll say it like this. Charlemagne being on the right side of history for himself, cleaning up everything that he has in his past, the fucking easiest thing to do. When you have so much smut on your name, when you got so much shit on your jacket that you gotta take the shit off, you can't even clean it, you gotta go and get a new one, the way that you clean yourself up, how you clean yourself up, and the consistency of how you clean yourself up is very much fucking need to be in line until you piss a motherfucker off and we bring this shit back up.
And that's what's happening right now with GG Academics. And I don't know what pissed off Academics. I really am so confused as to why he's like, yeah, I'm going to ruin Charlemagne's life. Like, this is crazy to me. But I hear you, bro. Like, and you make a good point, like, you know, where they come from and where they are now, you know. But what I can do is I could say, all right, boom, where does my moral ethics lie as of who's the man I see today? And I do believe in, what's the word? Redeeming yourself. I do believe in that. Like, you know, if Stephen A. Smith came out tomorrow and said, you know what, I was really harsh on Colin Kaepernick. I just was trying to do what's best for ESPN at the time. But I kind of see the vision of what he was trying to do, and I think that I might have came off a little harsh, even though I want things better. Instead of just digging his heels in the sand and saying that like just pretty much calling Colin Kaepernick a complete fraud and saying he wasn't good at football and he didn't want to play and all that stuff. I would be a little bit more accepting of him if he kind of like said,
Well,
what, I can see why people call me a coon. Huh?
Are you holding those sentiments to him now because he said that then and not retracting it, or have you heard him repeat those same sentiments since then?
No, I've heard him repeat the same thing since then. I
No,
don't think
and
I don't think he's ever retracted that. Then on top of that, I see him also talk about the way he talks about Daniel Crockett. I see the way that he, handled the whole
he's retracted.
Kyrie.
He's retracted Jasmine. He's retracted Jasmine. He's retracted Kyrie. He's even retracted Kwame Brown. So I've seen. So that's the owner. So I know you say I put on a cape for him, but I watch him more than you do a little bit, and it's more than just the clips and stuff. I do a ton of dishes, my nigga. His hour podcast is great for dishes. I ain't gonna hold you. It's great for dishes. So I watch it. I did see the retraction of the Jasmine Crockett thing. To your point, where he's where
Uh-huh.
he,
But then
he
he'll come
is.
out the next week and say, "I want all black people to vote Republican," and I think that's dumb. I think that's extremely coonish, especially considering where
That was
we
the
are
old
today.
segment. That was the old
He did that
segment.
recently. It's the old segment. He said it before, but he came out literally last month and said it again, like on
I thought he was telling the story of he said I didn't know. Okay, so that's
yeah,
back to interpretation. I didn't know that he was telling that story as to do it right now. I
yeah.
thought he was telling the story as I said this and this is why I said it
Nah,
previously.
he's on
Okay.
that shit, bro. Like, so I do think that like
Well, can the
he's
Republican Party be safe? Yes or no? Outside of Trump, you said it's going to be politics after Trump. Can the Republican Party? Because the Republican Party before
I
Trump was Mitt
wish
Romney. It was
I
Mitt Romney.
wish
It was
but
John
but e-
McCain.
but the problem with the Republican Party is that they're all very much not just status quo, pushing us forward the direction we're going in, which is extremely capitalistic and like outside of the racism, extremely capitalistic, extremely pro billionaire, pro corporation, and that's the primary issue I have with them outside of the race stuff,
Okay.
and the immigration stuff and all that stuff. I think they're super concerned with the white majority maintaining that, rather than saying, "Hey, this is America. It's going to evolve over time, and we're all going to decide how we govern." They're super concerned about the white majority and keeping it that way. So that's why we got to kick out immigrants. We got to limit immigration coming in. We got to make sure that black women can't have babies, and we're gonna, all types of shit that have harmed the black community. Keep drugs in the community. Tell and blame them for the murder rate, even though these Midwestern red states really have way more murder. They're going to blame Detroit and Chicago as like the most primary, which is not necessarily true. They're not going to tackle the root causes of violence. They're going to tackle a narrative of what they have of violence and say it's black people's nature, rather than say, "Hey man, we got to work on poverty and clean up poverty. If we give access to people maybe." And this is not just black people, just anybody who's in poverty, they commit more murders. If you're in a trailer park, there's a lot more domestic violence in trailer parks. There's a lot more, murders in trailer parks. It's just how the nature is. If you don't have resources, you're going to steal, shoot, murder, kill, and you're going to be more inclined to do something against the law. And also limiting education. That's all, taking away, Black history, that's what they're about. So I can't. So
I
can
want,
I
I want,
can they rehabilitate? It would take a huge swath of people to say this is wrong. I want the Republicans to represent this new thing, which I don't know what that would be.
so as you led with, can you outrun your past? You just named everything that we live in now. That's not a past; it's a present,
Well, I wasn't.
right?
Well,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
no,
But I was talking about a man. Now we're talking about
I
a
know,
party. You
I
know.
know, but those are men. Those are men that are reaffirming ideologies of the past. They have not grown. They leave us in a stale state of mind, right? So when I'm looking at and we talk about media warfare and the growth of pundits and this capitalist uh, uh, um, culture that you speak of that we live in is something that you just spoke of that needs to be something of yesteryear that has infiltrated the guys like Stephen A, guys like Charlemagne, guys like Joe Buttons, guys like DJ Academics, who have the voice of the black community, who then now reproduces the capitalistic culture, right? Charlemagne getting $200 million is not nothing bad that we look at, right? Get your money, black man. Joe Buttons getting what is it, 20 million a month or some shit like that? Whatever the fuck they said, 20 million, whatever Joe getting, whatever the number was, like these. And the way that Joe operates on the podcast, we see the elitism. We see the change. We
Yeah.
see we can see in real time what money make a bitch do. Right? So as we talk about as a man running from his past, if his past is poverty, if his past is not knowing when the meal's gonna come, when the lights is gonna get, when the bills is, the past of that may really impact the present of and the reason why and the way, reason why we got here to say you don't know why academics is coming
Going so hard.
and I think is part of inheriting the beef, right? I believe academics is inheriting the beef of media personalities who came at his man's, and he's gotten the orders from Drake to dome anybody that he see fits, right? And so with that being said, that's kind of how Abdul Carter looked at Jackson Dart. Oh, that's who you lining
You
yourself
know
with?
what? I gotta ask you a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Does this have to do with Drake and the Iceman stuff? Like, is this partially why he's going so hard at Charlamagne?
I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, but
Because I just looked it up. It says that academics publicly called out Charlamagne as a pure legacy hater due to Charlamagne's constant criticism of Drake's releases, specifically his commentary on Drake's Iceman. You know, he believes Charlamagne tries to dismantle Drake's career rather than review the music objectively. So, if this is all due to Drake, then you feel like you gotta then go to bat and war for Drake to take down Charlamagne because of this. I think this is nasty. That's all I'm
why
gonna
do you
say.
think why do you think it's nasty when media personalities inherited the beef early? Like I don't get it. If it goes one way, it goes one way. If we talking about, we started off with putting smearing Kendrick. If Kendrick didn't did back with Drake, if Drake you ain't do nothing, you shouldn't act like you ain't do nothing. Hey, if Kendrick ain't, don't put that on Kendrick. Why would Kendrick? Kendrick got some integrity, Chris. I know you're a man. Why would Kendrick? Don't put that on the jacket. I'm not putting nothing on Charlamagne's jacket. This already on his jacket. I just wanted to know. Did you know this stain was in his closet?
But
Did you
but
know he had
my
this
thing is,
jacket?
if my thing is the motivation behind it. Like, it's just weird to do that for another man, like just because of an album release, to go back that far. It's been that way forever. You've worked with this guy, you talked to him on the phone, you've talked to me. You guys have been in the media space for a long time. But why is this the impetus to now bring to resurface all this stuff? That's the only thing I'm trying to say.
I
Yeah, this is
mean,
on his jacket. You are complete right. Charlamagne deserves consistent criticism for this type of behavior and what he said. However, I think that, like, just isolating what Drake to get academics role in this is, I do think it's weird. I do think it is. You're now fucking with somebody's life because of his commentary on an album. You know, that's
he
what I'm
wasn't fucking
confused.
with somebody's life, calling somebody a pedophile.
Jesus Christ! Stop bringing it back to this fucking battle, bro. Every single time I bring up a
I'm
regular,
that's
logical
the
point of
that's the
view,
reason.
you
That's
guys
the
bring it.
reason.
You Drake stands.
You just
He's just straight up sucking
just
this
ask me a
guy's
fucking
dick
question.
because of this fucking battle. It's a fucking
Just
rap battle. I got you
ask me a
got to you got
question.
to get over it. Like the
You just
rap battle is a
question.
rap battle.
You just
This
ask
is
me a
not
question.
what this is not a rap battle.
You just asked me a question. You just asked me a question. You asked me a question. Do you think it happened to be Drake? If you brought it, I said maybe. If Charlemagne was in again, if Charlemagne and look, Joe's not obstructed for this. Joe's DV stuff is being brought up too. Joe Budden's DV stuff is being brought up too. Nobody. What I'm saying is that is so. I'm not compartmentalizing the two. What I'm saying is you can. If the thing of mudslinging is going to be what is in this space, it's in this space. Not just the rap battle. I'm not talking about the rap battle. The mudslinging was a part
Jesus
of
Christ.
everything of the
I think
culture.
that you guys
around
really
it.
do can't
Bro,
get. I think
Charlamagne
you
been
guys.
on. Bro, stop, nigga. Charlamagne been
I
on
think
Drake dick since
yeah,
2010.
yeah. Okay, fine.
What are you
He's on
talking
Drake Dick,
about?
so that makes it good for DJ Mac to bring all this stuff back up. That's what you're saying. It's fine, right? Because he just was trying because he's been on Drake's dick. So you're mad because Charlamagne was on his dick. So what?
Who's mad? What are you talking about? Who's mad?
Niggas like you and
asked
DJ
me,
Academics.
am I, bro? Suck respect. I got too much respect for you to tell you suck my dick, cuz. But respect. The nigga, they have a beef. Drake and Charlamagne have a beef. I said DJ Academics is inheriting the beef. That is a rap. I'm inheriting the beef. Niggas inherit beefs. Memphis Bleak inherited beef and shot at Nas. That is how the beef
So
started.
that's not what I'm talking about. Granted, we established that already. We
We didn't.
established.
You just asked me if it was
No,
inherited.
you said it. You said it already. I'm not asking. I didn't ask you if it was inherited. But I'm saying, is it fair game, or do you think it's good for a media person to start bringing up old shit on somebody to smear them based off of their commentary of Drake's album?
Is it off the commentary of Drake's album, or is it just off the commentary of Drake, period? Because I'm not talking about the commentary of Drake's album. I'm talking about the commentary. So Drake is attacking a man of Charlamagne.
It says that
Okay,
they said it's because of the Iceman album review. That's what I'm seeing here. That's what I'm looking it up. That's what they're saying because I didn't know. So what I did is I looked it up and say, why is he doing this? And that's what came up. So if that's true,
go look back up. Then since you research and look it back,
can you answer my question first? Can you answer my question first?
I said it's not about the album. I don't think it's about the album.
If it was, because that's what came up. If it was, you think that's not weird to you? That's why I asked us because I said that's just really weird to me, and I think it's nasty. And you're like, why? You brought up, you think I was putting small on somebody's name? You guys just try to defend Drake so much that even when we're not even talking about Drake and his stuff, you force that shit into the conversation.
No, all right. You fucking asked me, did Academics do it on behalf of Drake? I didn't fucking bring Drake up in none of the conversation we was talking about Charlamagne.
No, okay. We can look at the footage later on, but what I'm trying to tell you is, what I'm saying, G Academics doing this on behalf of Drake is that I said it's nasty, and then what you did is you brought up, putting somebody's name is nasty, and you're trying to bring up the battle again about how Drake has stuff on his jacket and all this stuff. That's what happened just now, I'm like, can we isolate the situation of because we already talked lengthy about we talked lengthy about how Charlamagne's fucked up, right? We just did that. So what I was trying to do,
the album is fucked up. If you want that answer, then yes. That's all I was
trying to. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. So I said
the album. But I said it wasn't about that.
But that's why I'm telling you. Hey, I looked it up. That's what it's saying, and that's why I said it was nasty. Because the reaction you had when I said it was nasty was immediately defending Drake because of the battle. It's just ridiculous to me. But go ahead.
It wasn't immediately defending Drake. It was immediately correcting you because you didn't know what the fuck you was talking about.
So but I looked it up, so it's not correcting me. It's just your opinion.
Bro, the internet is right all the time because you looked it up.
But my point is this: I'm trying to go off of what I just got. Can you just changing the narrative because you feel like you want to defend Drake? I'm like, no, let's stick in this reality. If this is it, then what the fuck is? I think that's why I think it's nasty. If it's this, I said if it's this, I don't know.
Okay, so we're making a hypothetical. So we're talking about the hypothetical of if it's nasty. Period. If I'm using a media outlet to throw smut or to push a narrative, is it nasty?
because of an album review. That's why I'm saying, because it wasn't happening before the album review, right? It just happened this past week. So I'm like, wait, what spurred it on right now? You know, like that's my curiosity. That's my logical train of thought. And they're saying it's the Iceman album release and his criticism of it. So I'm like, wait a minute, if that's it, then that's just nasty to me and it's weird for you to take the criticism of this album so harshly that you're now like bringing up all this shit, you know, for another man, so much less. So that's why I said that, you know. But your reaction immediately was like, Drake. Go ahead.
Get every time we speak about Drake, it's weird to you because he's a weird nigga. We've established that.
It's not about Drake. I'm talking about what DJ Akademiks did. We're talking about Charlamagne and DJ Akademiks, bro.
But Akademiks is a bro. Akademiks doing it on behalf of Drake. If that's me doing anything on behalf of my man won't never be considered weird to me if it's not weird to me. Doing anything on behalf.
I know it's not weird to act. I think it's not weird to act.
I know. I'm sent on even to the point of you and I defending you to a fervor of a podcast. It would be weird to somebody on the outside looking in. You my man. I don't give a fuck if somebody critiques the podcast or whatever the case may be. However I decide to defend you or hold you up, that's going to look weird. Especially if I go on a campaign and be like, nigga, I know you ain't talking about my nigga Cheetah. You a bitch ass nigga. You did this, nigga, hoe ass nigga. Niggas will look at me weird.
Especially when you had a relationship with that person for years. Like, let's say it's one of our guys in our group chat, you know, like not putting their name, but let's say you just all of a sudden, just years of relationship, right, with this person, and then they say something bad about me, and you go and start like, well, pulling out all the things they did wrong in their past. It will be kind of like, okay, what spurred this on? That's all I was doing was asking, what spurred this on? And if that's the reason, I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. That's odd.
But we've had conversations all the time, and you've cast aspersions on people and be like, yo, these niggas that's in your space is not your friend. Right? So because Akademiks and Charlamagne has worked together before, I don't think they've really worked together. Akademiks and Joe have.
I think it's been. No, they have. But I think it's been split for a while. You know, there are a lot of times where Akademiks used to defend Charlamagne to Joe and all during that whole like civil war they had. Joe and Charlamagne, Akademiks was in the middle, and he's like still working with Charlamagne on things. You know, and I think they did a couple of interviews or whatever. You know, but at the end of the day. What I'm trying to say is,
I would say like yes, it is looked upon.
I don't want you ruining somebody's life for me because they have a beef with me. Like I don't, you know, but
I would.
But here's the thing, I don't
ruin a nigga life. That's me.
Okay, all right, fair. But if I say if I say hey man, that's weird, then I'm gonna still look at it as weird. I'm like, yo, bro, you don't gotta do that. That's weird. That's why I said that's nasty. I'm like, bro, I don't want you killing.
Yes.
You know, like I'm gonna keep it a bug, and that's why like I think it's nasty that an album release, you know, and somebody's critique of an album could be like, yep, well, you had a rape case and you, you know, could have sexually assaulted your wife at one point, and you said some bad things about R. Kelly, and bringing all that up right now to attack the guy off of that is to me ridiculous. To me, it really is.
I mean, niggas do ridiculous stuff. Hey, buying whips and chains, wicked. Niggas do a lot of dirty stuff for niggas. Real spit. Like niggas do a lot of dirty stuff for niggas. And as a nigga who don't really ride for a lot of niggas, but when I ride for my nigga, it don't matter if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. When I step off the porch, off the love of you, Kate, not even your love can stop that, nigga, because you was hurt. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that is some, and that is warped. That is not healthy. You know what I'm saying? And that's stupid. But realistically, we have to handle that ourselves out private. In public, what I'm saying is, when public, that's the thing. If we all are working together in some type of capacity. I get Charlamagne and Drake has had their thing. Drake done sent them bottles to the Breakfast Club and everything like that after the Meek Mill beat. everything like that. So the Drake Charlemagne thing is the same as the academic Charlemagne to me. We treat each other from afar, respect. What I would say was there. If I already know that you and this other person are at a distance, but y'all fuck with one another, and you put out if you put out a project or you drop the website or you do some code and shit, whatever, you take some time out and you put a project out there, and that nigga job is to be objective of it and just be like, hey, this don't work, it got a bug here, or hey, if I were doing this, I will have to overlay this. If it's just completely, hey man, don't nobody use this site. Don't nigga, who the fuck wanna have an exercise dog? You know, like if a nigga shitting on your work, my nigga, you might not come out and say that affected me. I would know it. And if I decide to go outside, no seatbelt and ride, nigga, you gotta take that because I would just know you not gonna do it. You not gonna do it.
All right. All right. I guess. Like I guess I'm just different, man. I guess I
You
just
are.
see things differently. I
You
just see
are.
things
You
differently,
are.
man. I just think that like I wouldn't want even Kendrick to tell one of his boys to go and start digging up shit, about academics and throwing it out there. I don't want him to do that. Like I don't. I think that that's just at this point,
I mean, but at this point, no. I
like
need
just let it ride. Like the beef is over.
expose. No,
Like the
expose it all. Charlemagne holds a prominent position in the space of media. You can't
but
change the
based off of
narrative
his
of your own story
but
and
based
be able
on
to
the
change
image,
the
but
story.
based on an album review, bro. Like it's just
I'm not
one
saying
nigga.
I'm not
I know
saying
you're saying it's not on an album review, even if it's his opinion about Drake as a person too. Like, all right, so what? Like,
but
like
if you perpetuate it that's why I go back. That's why
I
not the
want to hear what
beef.
Charlamagne said because if he says something that was out of line, then I get it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like if there's something, I get it more. Even that, I'm like, you probably shouldn't go just ignore that shit because at the end of the day, you are DJ Economics. You're doing very well. You're successful, right? Drake is Drake. He's doing very well. He's successful, right? There are gonna be haters. There's gonna be people who have opinions that are just not in your favor. Move the fuck on. Don't now
Is
then extend the war and the beef to like now I gotta drag you through the mud because you didn't like the album or you criticized it. He just got number one. He beat Michael Jackson's record. Like, can we move the fuck on? Like, can we
I
not do
was
this and be his bitch like his war
well, let me
hero?
well let me ask you this. So outside of that, Fat Joe, not Joe Blunt, Fat Joe, he had his own response to, hey, Khaled, my brother, Drake. Now, I ain't never did no music with you, and I ain't never had no
But
problem
you're
with you.
bullying him.
What you right.
Uh-huh.
Now the response is, how is Jada's right there? How am I bullying this nigga? Joe said, Khaled ain't did nothing. Jada said, how you know? Jada said, how do you know
Uh-huh.
what may or may not have occurred in their relationship for
Uh-huh.
him to feel that way about your brother? Now, guess what? Joe about to be outside for his nigga. TS, Terror Squad, the Bronx, the nigga who, like, if
But what if,
Joe
but
can,
if Joe, if like, and my thing is, if Joe, and I feel like that's a respectful way to handle it though, as in riding for your guy. If Joe went out there and said, "Yo, guess what? Drake just bullying my guy, Khaled, and guess what? Drake is a fucking pedophile." Like, it just started going crazy with like all the shit that Drake has done in the past, and he stole this record from this guy, this all, and you start going crazy on his show. I'd be like, all right, Joe, chill out, like, like that's enough.
but that's to your point. He's a pedophile. Would be to thank you. That will go back to the smut of the jacket. If it's proven and it's a skeleton and it's a stain that has been reported and he's pulling it out, and like you say, he's browbeating him with something that a nigga's trying to run from, that's his past, then I will say again,
And then you go to
it ain't
and then
right.
you go to Joe's Twitter, and he has all the Drake him kissing the girl on stage, and Drake sending text messages and liking Millie Bobby
No.
Brown and liking what that
Rick
girl's
Ross
name.
did it. Yes, Rick Ross did it too. That's what. Yes, Rick Ross did during the whole beef. He had the Maybach. It was like, hey, Drake would really like this one. He was sending this to Millie Bobby Brown. He would really niggas was. That's what I'm trying to say. Niggas was in the moment perpetually like, hey, that's facts. That's facts. That's real on your jacket, nigga. You was texting this girl. Now, was it dick pics to the girl?
We don't know.
Was it abs to the girl?
We
Was it
don't
I want to
know.
sleep with you?
We
Was
don't know.
I know, but the text that
But what
we
we do
see,
know is that a grown man who's in his 30s talking to a girl who's 16, 14, like
that
15
is
at the time during the that's what
that is true.
that looks like grooming. That's definitely like a
So
grooming type of behavior. Even if it because she said, but from her own mouth, oh, we were talking about boys. Oh, so you're talking about romance. You're talking about
you want to go here? You want to go here on this Friday?
what?
We've been reserving everything is grooming. Change the title. We've been sitting
Oh
on
no,
this
no, I don't want to go here. I
conversation.
do not want to go here yet.
You sure? You
I
sure?
don't want to go
Because
here
if
yet.
you sure,
This
because
is media
academics
warfare. Keep it on media warfare. But yes.
but academics is about to go that route because that nation is a media conglomerate. The person who runs that nation got some shit that's
But my thing
publicly.
is this. Yes, that nation, cool. We know, granted. But what I don't like is the same thing with the whole. What if what about Joe Biden and Obama? It's the same thing. We're dealing with this right now.
Okay.
Don't just say
Okay.
also back then this person. Oh, don't look at me. Look at them. They
Hold
did
on.
it. They did it too, nigga. It's
But
wrong. It's wrong. Can we just accept that this is wrong? This is
but
weird behavior. And that's the reason why
there's no
Drake is suing and shit. Because there's so much evidence that says it's plausible that you might be a pedophile. That's the only reason.
respect. Yes, but where is we have the facts of the other things of the other people. What I'm saying is, you may have niggas accepted the grooming back then. Niggas know what grooming looks like. Niggas can identify grooming. Yes, so show me where that's at.
Yeah,
I know you
100%.
don't have. I know you might have the idea of it. I know you might want to use that as a jab or something that really gets me because that sticks. But show me where that's really at because
And
we
guess what?
know where
Those
that
people
is.
aren't in rap battles right now. And that's the thing I would say. They didn't choose to tell everybody to drop a song about them, and knowing that there's this stuff on your jacket, maybe you should have just not done that because they can go far with it. And we talked about this in the past, but I hate I'm not just you, but the whataboutism. It's just when people have got you cornered, this is wrong, and you can't say no, you're right, this is wrong, and I get why this looks this way to you, cheating. They'll, instead of you or somebody else, they'll say, but this person over there, remember? And then the whole conversation shifts to this other thing. And it's like, but we
You're
were
right.
here.
Hold on. You're right. I have no idea what that conversation is, and that's weird. Can anybody text your niece? Can a celebrity artist text your 13-year-old niece?
No.
Okay.
They better
For
not.
me, I gotta see the text. I'm sitting there with the text.
No man, if it's a
guardian.
woman, even a woman was like kind of weird. But it depends. Like if it's a relationship that's building, it's weird. Period. Like I don't want Millie Bobby Brown. She exposed the thing on the red carpet. Yeah, I talk with Drake all the time. He talks to me
Yes.
about boys. Like I was like, holy shit. That is not a good look for a man of that age. Like it's one thing if you guys work together one time and you say, oh, how you doing? How's your mom? How's her? All right, cool. If you're saying, okay, how that did that guy text you back? That's weird. As a grown man to do that. You got a boyfriend? That's nuts. But so I want everybody to move on. It's not just Drake. I want academics to move on. I want Charlamagne to move on. I want Joe Budden to move on. I want everybody to move on because the battle time was the battle time. As you see, Joe, he gave props to Iceman, and he's still getting dragged to the mud. So I don't know what you guys want. I don't know what people want.
Joe academics also said it. Academics also said Joe made a business move, which Joe lamented because
A business move when he reviewed it?
Yes, academic said Joe. If you go back in the original review, one. Remember, I sent you the. It was tepid. The things that he wanted to say and the manner of how he used to say it, the way he used to critique,
But I
even
also
during the
think that
battle.
people want to move on. I also think people don't want to kill Drake. I think people are they see that he's very
Sure,
sensitive. And they're like, you know
sure.
what? If I say too much, he's going to take it the wrong way. Everybody's going to hate on me. And the Drake fans are going to definitely go crazy. And they're not going to let it
That's
go.
a hard pivot to make now when you built a career off of that. I'm talking about
But
Charlamagne and Joe Buttons.
I
When
mean,
you've made a career off of that, for that to be like, oh, I don't want to kill the guy now, it's like,
I think
why
that he's
not?
already got his ass beat. So now that he's pretty much like the reason why is because he's already killed. Like, you're like, why put dirt on the freaking grave when he's already buried?
But when Charlamagne was honest, hey, I don't like the album. What you gave me was trash. I don't like it.
Did you hear him say that?
So
Because I didn't watch that part. I didn't see that. All right. Saying
he
you're
ain't
saying,
he didn't do the Joe. He didn't do the
but
Ebro.
my thing is context matters.
But
We have to
listen,
know exactly how he came up. Because if he
he didn't
did
do
it,
the Joe. He didn't do the Ebro. Dumb
I'm gonna look
niggas
this
was
up right
like,
now. I'm gonna look this up right now. Charlamagne's Iceman review. Because I need to see the context. Because I think that people are so sensitive, and especially when it comes to him. And I'm like, there's no other artist that gets this much defense from people. And I'm like, guys, relax.
Jay-Z does. Jay-Z does, absolutely.
Jay-Z?
Yes, he does. Absolutely. Yes, he does. Yeah. Yes, he does. Yeah.
I think this is more, honestly. I think Jay-Z does too, but this is more.
Well, this is more because now we have a different subset of generation that's behind it, right? We have uh like my age and younger but you got my age and older. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga,
Hold on one
Rich
second.
is.
I want to hear. Can
You
you?
got it. You got the video. I don't hear it, but
Frozen steam. Steaming and they put an Iceman Kane.
They can't be.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of sucking. That's all it's been, sucking all week. You don't see these guys.
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of sucking. That's all it's been, sucking all week. You don't see these guys with the frozen cum, the frozen semen.
That's not what it is. That's not what
They're
it
covered
is.
in frozen semen and they post an Iceman Kane.
They can't be
no,
excited
no,
about.
No,
Yes, today
it's
they
frost,
put an
yo.
Iceman Kane.
It's the frost.
Covered in semen.
Nobody said that.
Why they can't be excited about the
This is
project?
Iceman
Why
is
it gotta
here.
be all that?
I do. I like the fact. I like the rollout. I thought it was good. I like the excitement. I like people engaging with music.
Yes.
and as you heard it, it was not.
Drop 3 million projects, bars.
You know, like
Huh? Sorry.
No, I was just saying. I'm like, as you heard, yeah, I mean, it's in the vein of Charlamagne, who he is. So we take it for that's. I'm not. That's not nothing to be sensitive, really, like, or like you're like, oh, like, but like Charlamagne wasn't like. Charlamagne was him, and him and Drake relationship is that. I think that is like that was Charlamagne, and him and Drake relationship is that, right? It is always where he get the waffle color brother when he started calling Envy that. He started that with Drake. Waffle color Negro is what he calls them. You're a waffle color Negro. so like that has been that is their relationship. That they have never been the type to where Charlamagne again doesn't respect the sensitivity.
But
of Drake.
before the album even came out, Charlamagne was saying, I just don't want to hear him revisit the beats. And he did. So clearly he's not going to be happy with the album. You know, it's not like so when we talk about objective opinion, like he's told you what he wanted, he didn't get it. So objectively, he didn't like it, you know, like, so.
Everybody else said that too. And then they came out and they I guess Charlamagne is the big tough guy on the bully that's like, hey, nobody going to tell me what to say. Right? So when Ice said it, Mark said it, Joe said it, Park said it, Ebro said it, Lowe said it, Kazim said it, the Deska said it, everybody that reviewed the album said, get over the beef shit. He gave you 18 songs about the fucking beef shit, nigga. The fuck you want to do? Bitch. The fuck you want to do,
So
nigga?
why is Charlamagne getting all this fucking heat? I'm so confused, brother. I'm so confused. Oh my God. But hey, it's the nature of the beast, I guess. Right? This is what war is in the media space. Um, I honestly, I just want to just keep all it out for what it is. I don't like defending clown shit sometimes, you know. I do think there's a difference between, you know, calling somebody names within the context of a rap battle, and then 2 years later, you know, people still talking about it, people still now pulling people's jet and saying and trying to like, you know, smear them from because of the battle. I think that you're making it worse. Like you're making it not fun. You know, at this point, it was fun that when the battle was going on. Now we're 2 years later,
Was
where
it
it's like,
what you what you get respect?
no, no,
I
no, no,
get
no, no, no. I want to hear your opinion. Like, if it's not fun to you when the battle happened, then I mean, that's your truth.
no, not to me. No, but it was not fun to that nigga. So
Yeah,
now
it
that it's
wasn't. He
not fun,
lost. I get it.
no,
Like, we
not
get
even
it.
respect. No, it's not even that. It's not even that he lost. And I think that's the
But
loss
my
is the
thing,
loss.
if he won, it would have been fun. I genuinely believe that.
The okay. Yes, if he okay. I would just say this. When Jay-Z said left condoms in your baby seat to Nas, he had to apologize. His mom didn't like that. Said that was too far.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. You can do other shit and rap. You too good of a fucking condoms in your, even if you did fuck his baby mom, my nigga, don't disrespect that man. Neither don't disrespect that lady, and don't put that child by doing shit like that. Don't do that. That is the premise of that. You don't get like so you can go too far and be like, hey, I ain't mean it. I apologize on a rap battle.
Yeah.
That so we're not going to talk about in the premise of a rap battle that everything is just gung ho and you could just say whatever the fuck you want. No, there was consequences. There can be consequences, and sometimes if you're man enough, you attest to those consequences because, hey, my bad, that was a bit too far.
I mean, it depends on what you think is too far. I mean, is saying your kids is not yours too far? If condom on your baby seat is not too far, is too far, then I think saying your kid is not even yours at all might be too
That is
far. So
true.
who went too far first? That's my thing is, you know. And then when you got what you got from going too far, are you gonna say, oh, that's too far? Like that's
No,
the thing.
I think
Now
we're
we're
just in
here. Now you've opened Pandora's box. We are going there. If you don't
and
like what
so
you
with that,
see, that is on
but
you.
but you're speaking on behalf of that and defending Charlemagne that the Pandora's box is open, nigga, and just because you had a locks on yours don't mean
But
shit.
my point is with Charlemagne, he wasn't in this rap battle. You
That is
know,
true, but
that's what I'm
I
trying to get at. It's like he's a complete
and
ancillary
see and
bystander.
it's
And there's a lot of people that had a problem with the album, and a lot of people have a problem with Drake. And a lot of people that, you know, and it's just you're now
but
2 years later.
in war though, we talk about this insensitivity in war. They ain't just intended targets that get shot. There are innocent bystanders. There are niggas that are on the
But
porch
who
with
says
the
we're
nigga
at
that
war? That's my
I'm not saying
point. Like, you know, like
not,
no, but no,
what,
I'm doing you because you're right. There is innocent bystander. But my thing is like, who says we're at war still? Like, you know, like who determines that we're at war? Like
who did I mean now let's talk about who
when
determines
Drake
when the war
waved the white flag on the Hard Part 6, that was the end to me. That was the end of the war. That's how I looked at it, you know. And I think that Charlemagne 2 years later taking shots on because of a battle that he, you know, called the correct way, he saying Drake lost and move on. And hey, I don't
but
like the album. Does that warrant Drake DJ Academic? No, it doesn't to me. But hey, it
I
is
don't
what it is. But
no,
I
but
don't think.
but I mean I know this is figuratively war and we're not talking
Yeah.
about literal war,
Uh-huh.
but when we're speaking of and using that terminology, you then have to then identify niggas don't take losing a war well, my nigga.
Yeah.
Like Iraq had Desert Storm, Desert Shield. My dad was a part of Desert Storm, Desert Shield. Then I served in Iraqi War of Freedom, my nigga. Like because Iraqis did not motherfucking take 93 laying down.
But
Them
it's one
niggas.
thing if like you served and you know and
No, I didn't serve.
it's
I didn't serve because of that. I didn't know. What I'm saying is Iraqi. What I'm saying is that the mentality of war. When we did Desert Storm in '93, it was the quickest war ever. We thought we disseminated them. We thought we kicked ass, whatever. As the United States, the war Iraq was done. Them niggas plotted for years on end. Them niggas rebuilt themselves. Them niggas came back, hijacked the plane, and then went to the tower. It was like we about to start this shit all over again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
so
but
war doesn't
who was?
necessarily
But
end
my
with
thing
the
is,
war.
my thing is, okay, I guess Charlemagne is the guys in the towers. If that's how you put it, because he's not the person who
It's not.
he's not the government of the United States. The government of the United States is Kendrick. If you really want to start the war, go diss him. Like, that's how I look at it. You know, but
I mean,
I don't think that
that's
Kendrick is
true.
going to take a shot at Charlemagne. That's serious. If you're trying to
I
restart
know.
a war.
I mean, no, Kendrick took. But Kendrick took a shot at right. Like, I mean, so like you like if we. I mean, so to your point about the towers and the
When did he
Pentagon,
take a shot at in the battle?
yeah, I think right. No,
Yeah,
yes,
he
no.
said act looking compromised. Is that a shot? It's true. It's not even a shot. It's just facts. He's compromised because
Okay, so
clearly we see that he's like super close with Drake. You know,
if we talk about facts and things that are not a
but
shot,
I'm just trying to say, like, maybe it's a shock to you, but I'm saying, is that Warren thing? Like, he's not like saying Ack is a pedophile. Ack has, talking to boys about their dick, like which he did. He's not bringing up all that dirt that Ack has done. He's fighting women. Like, he's not doing that. He just said, listen, you're looking compromised. And then when he had a problem with Ack, you know what he did? You showing up to my concert, he has boys go check him. And, in the first one, they actually talked to him man to man. That's how Kendrick handled it, with all the stuff that he was having problems, because Ack was throwing a lot of smut on his family's name, throughout the media. And Ack does this a lot where he just says whatever the fuck he wants, so
So would you rather Drake check Charlemagne than rather have Ack do it on his behalf?
100%.
Okay.
Even if Charlemagne, even on behalf of Drake, even if on behalf of Drake, academics went to Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club and said, "Let me talk to you real quick. What's going on? What's like? Can you that even would be like interesting. That would be fine."
But you don't think that would have been bitchy though? Like then we would have been saying academics is coming. Like, I think no matter how academics,
I think at this point, I don't think it's one thing because here's the thing. If Charlemagne is actively like going at Drake every single day for some shit, all I'm hearing Charlemagne say is like, listen, just get over the battle. That's what I've been hearing for the past month. It's not but what academics was doing was going at Whitney and bringing her up and bringing up the kids and Dave Free nonstop after the battle and saying that this is true, that he beat her and that the kid's not his and all that stuff. You're talking about my personal life, I'm gonna pull up on you, or my boys are gonna pull up on you and check on, like, yo, what's the temperature? Yeah, what's the temperature?
The media warfare, right?
Yeah. So and that's what you did. The boys checked them. They didn't come out and just pull a whole bunch of cards on DJ Academics and start back with a media narrative on Act. They talked to the man. That's what they did. Person to person. If Charlemagne was doing all that stuff with Drake, where I think first of all people would call Charlemagne out like, all right, you're going too hard on Drake. If he was, it wouldn't just be Act. But just not liking the album, I think that's where I'm like, okay, this is kind of nasty. Like, you guys are not over this beef, and I need you guys to get back to making good music and getting away from this whole revenge shit. Like, it's so lame to me.
But when we have, so to you, when you critique the album because you critiqued it, and I listen to
you know what? I listened to the album today. You know what? I listened to A Little Birdies. I like that. It's one of my songs that I like. So I want you guys to understand. Like, there are people who have critiques of the album and still will listen to a song on the track. And that's not one of the tracks that I like the most. But I listened to it. It came out. I'm gonna be fair. Okay, to be fair, I was listening to the Fake Iceman, and then that came on next, Little Birdies, and then I kept it going. So like, it wasn't like I chose to listen to it, but it came on, I'll shuffle, and I listened to it. I enjoyed it. So I want you guys to understand, like, people have a right to their opinion, and it doesn't mean that you should dig up their past and ruin their life, per se. That's all.
I mean, I know you got mad and you didn't think that a rap beef ruined a nigga life, because clearly it didn't. 3 number ones, 42 of the top 100 on the 42 songs on the top 100 on the charts. Like, clearly the nigga life is not over. To the point of get over the beef. The first thing that, like, what we heard, and I think that's again the critiquing of the album, is like, Well, you asked for like where I was at. This is where I was at. This is my
No, no,
thoughts of the
and that's why I'm like, hey, I'll let you and me. I was like, hey, I'll take where you're at, you know. But now it's going to
But you
be.
also say give us good music, and people are saying the music isn't good. And I think that like their
But
unfairness to Drake is
that's where
like
he's at, though. That's where he's at. He's at a place where he can't make great music at the point. I think even you like some songs, but it's not like it's great. Like they're
no, but
catchy,
I
you
didn't think
know.
Mr. Morale was great either. But he has the highest touring. He had the highest grossing touring sale for a rap art. Like so,
I
the
think Mr.
interpretation.
Morale has more substance in there than there's more. Mr.
Substance
Morale, if it
does
was a
not make good
person,
music.
has more
Substance,
substance in a
substance don't
Pinky
make good
than
music.
Iceman. But
Substance don't
but
make
that's
good
your
music.
opinion. That's your opinion. Some people take it differently. You know, some
But I'm
people. But that's why I would say Mr. Morale is a good album. It's not just like when I listened to it, it's not what I expected either when I first heard it. You know, I kept going back to Savior. I kept going back to N95 and DNA. But as I sat with the album, I started seeing, oh shit, he's telling the whole story of his mental health journey through his his therapy journey, and I got a different perspective on every single song. And I looked at it as, oh, this is deeper than I thought initially. Mr. Morale is similar to the Fall Off to me. It's both of them are albums that you probably have to sit with. It's almost like there's certain movies that are just not just going to be blockbusters. But if you sat with that movie and you watched it, you're like, wow, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. But it's not about you dancing. That's the thing. That's that. Sometimes movies are not about you just being super entertained. It's about you seeing a narrative or being enlightened after you've seen the film. And I think that body of work is what Mr. Morale is. I think The Fall Off is that way too. It's not really
what
about me listening to The Fall Off and having getting a bopping like in a mood and driving in my whip and just going to the club.
I know,
It's not that.
but as an artist yourself though,
But it's
to
great
be
music to me. I think
but as
you know what I mean.
what I'm saying as an artist yourself to always be compared and say your art has to be somebody else's art because they make a different type of art that other people like is you will feel some type of way as an artist, would you not?
No, I don't think Drake needs to do that personally.
I know what
But when you're
I
making,
but
wait, no, sorry. Can you repeat what you're saying so I get what your context is, what you're trying to say?
I mean, like the comparison of Drake is not introspective. You said Drake doesn't make good music. You say I haven't listened to things that he's made in X amount of years or whatever the case may be. That kind of does that type of rhetoric is echoed, and it's a sentiment of not just the minority, right? Clearly has been the gap has closed as to the disparity of who likes Drake, who doesn't, because it wasn't who likes Drake and who tolerates Drake. It's who likes Drake and who doesn't. That shift in narrative has only been kind of perpetuated and kind of then blown over the course of media and how things have been like the reason why I say the reason why I think the Joe and Drake beef is so enamored not only to fucking other people's girls or whatever the case may be. Views is a really good album.
Yeah.
Views is and not only Joe didn't say that it wasn't a good album, he didn't come and like say no. He said that music's uninspiring. He also said what you say. He can't make a hit. He said the writing is not good. But
I
and so
will be honest with you. Views at the time too for me, it wasn't what I wanted. I'll be honest with you. But if I go back to it, it's way better than the Drake of today. Put it that way. It's way better than the Drake of today.
everybody's music is going to be way better than it was as of like
Not
you can say
necessarily. I mean,
Gen X is good. You can say hold on. You can say Gen X is good. It's not better than Section 80. You can say Gen X is good. It's not better than Overly Dedicated.
I think that it's one of his best commercial albums. I think that he did. I think that's what GNX is. I can't compare it to Section 80 because it's a different type of body of work to me. And the same thing with Mr. Morale. I think that commercially, GNX is one of his best albums ever created. And that's what I'm talking about. That's Damn and GNX. So it depends on how. So when I look at Drake, I'm looking at him commercially. And I'm looking at him for the club hits, for the dance bops, for not the crazy substance. But if I get that within the course of your body of work, I'm like, oh, there it is. I like that, However, when it came to the dance tracks and all that stuff, it didn't hit for me this time. So yeah, I think it was bad music. I think the beats are bad. I think that is kind of like it does feel uninspired. He hasn't gotten over the beat, and I also feel like what's the word for it? I feel like we graded on a curve because it's Drake. But if somebody came up with that exact same song, we would be like, "What is this?" Like, you
But
know?
that is what is very difficult as a Drake fan, as he gives you three different. I know we just talking about Iceman, but you didn't like neither of the other stuff either. So he gave you 42 songs, and that's when of that, and that is where I feel
Maid of
like you said,
Honor, I don't want to go back to. BT, I do want to go back to and give it another try. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but
that's fine. I mean, that's
you know,
fine, but
but
yeah,
Iceman, there I told you the tracks I like on there, and I still today I hit you up with another track. I'm like, hey man, that's one of my tracks where I came up and I didn't turn it off. Like it's a good structured song to me. Little Birdies, even though he's still talking about ASAP, hey, it's a good structured song.
he's
I
not talking
can't.
about ASAP in that
He's
song,
not.
not the whole song. No, he's talking about the girl that I was telling you that he was fucking with during this time. She ended up the so going back to academics, he called Whack and TDE. Whack says TDE and he got the video of the girl that fucked that Drake can't get over was fucked by somebody from the TDE camp in the condo that he bought. So all the crying that he's doing and you left me, you fucked him. A nigga from the op camp fucked his bitch in the condo that he bought and paid for, and they got it on video,
Yeah,
allegedly.
I did not know that.
So when we're talking about get over some shit, buddy, it's gonna take a little bit more time over this way.
Oh my
It's
God!
gonna take it. It's
But
gonna
what
take.
about the rumors of him that's trying to mess with Baby Kane's girl? That's also what I've heard. So it's
Number,
like almost
number two,
like
number two, DMing my bitch. That's cool. I don't ask why. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And
so it's weird to me. Like y'all try to smash each other's girls. It's just weird to me as revenge. But I think if you did it first, is it fair game that somebody does it back to you?
no, it's no. But I think to the whole point of in the songs that he's and again in Habitu and he's saying, damn, you put a you on you, you put a me on you, you put a me on you, bitch, and I don't know how to handle this. Like the emotion, like so when you're saying there's uninspired, when you say there's no emotion, when like there's no structure, there's no substance, when you're like, I
I
don't
don't
want to
say
hear this.
I'm not saying no, none.
No, no,
I'm saying
I hear
majority of it. I'm just
no, I
uh,
get you. We got our own opinion, but
yeah.
I get we got our, but the
I just I just
reviews
I
of
just
it.
want to be hyperbolic when I'm trying to give him credit. Like I really am trying, you know.
But the reviews of the album from other people who review music um, are finding the stories like you said about the Kendrick shit. I would have never known shit about the fucking whatever he's going
Yeah,
through by
yeah,
listening
yeah.
to the song. I would have to have listened to a person give a critique, have to go back listen to the song, like, oh okay, I hear that. Oh okay, I see that.
And
Oh, I see that. And
confirm that
confirm,
what yeah, confirm what it. So when I
exactly.
went back, like when I look, even Mr. Morale, I listened to that. I didn't get it really until the next following year. Like I didn't really when I went back like next the following year and listened to it. I was like, okay, and then I thought it was a masterpiece. Honestly, I think it's a very well done
and
body of
and
work.
to and,
You know,
and to your
so
point, commercially, Kendrick isn't in that vein. So, like when that's why I was saying about comparing the artist to right. Kendrick made a very commercially conscious album, and damn, that had a lot of hit records that love me. Like he had a lot of I want to be rich. Like the songs were good. The songs were good. He put a Drake on Drake with damn better with the melodic sounds, with the you know what I mean, going back and forth. He had Rihanna on the like he
mm,
has some good
that might be one of my
songs.
favorite. Oh man, like the replayability of Damn and GNX to me are probably his two most replayed albums to me. Like
But
the replayability of
but
those.
look at the but to your point, and but Kendrick don't operate in that space. There's a very much time gap of damn whenever that came out, which is what 2017, 16, 18.
2018.
Heck, 2018 to Gen X, that's damn
Or
near.
maybe 2017. 2017 or 18, one of those two. Sorry, my bad. But go ahead. My
But
bad.
but to your point, it's still a good 8 years of a solid, good commercial album. Even though we said Mr. Morale was a commercially, the tour did well. It wasn't, because it was like you said,
Mr. Morale,
sonically.
you have to be artsy to like that. And I know that you call me artsy, and when I try to put you onto it a little bit before, it's a real heavy concept album. So
And I
when you watch him on tour, it's like almost like you're watching a Broadway performance. Like that's how I feel watching it. And I've never seen a hip hop artist do something that deep in that way before. It's
You're right.
very
Because
groundbreaking for me.
I never, because Pippa Butterfly was that to me.
Yeah, that was a very good conceptual album as well. And that's why those two are kind of compare Morale and Pimp a Butterfly. But then you go back to Kid Mad City, that's also a commercial hit. Low key, it's like a kind of a blend of both. It's a story concept, but it's also has a commercial hits, swimming pools, and backseat freestyle. So like those things stand out. To Pimp a
But when it
Butterfly, to Pimp a Butterfly is good. It's not. It's probably my least favorite, even though it was like the most like highly acclaimed album by like the media and shit. It's not my favorite. I do like some of the songs in it, but it's not my
and
favorite. Kendrick, I'll
and
be honest with you.
and to your point, when Kendrick dropped, the media personalities called him a hotep. They called him an anti-vaxxer. They tried to put a lot of stuff on Kendrick when he came out with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers during the time that it came out, during the time of the world where it came out. People were kind of looking for something, some to grab onto, and they was like, "What is this?" You know what I'm saying? But when he was back outside, niggas just wanted to go back outside and see back outside, right? So, and he made it worth their while. You know what I
Uh,
mean? I feel the same way about Tyler the Creator, right? I think once we got Igor, that was his apex. He's
I
been
really like
trying to
Pharmacopoeia.
chase. I like it too, but it ain't Igor.
I got to go back and listen to Igor then because that shit was fire. I remember. But
I mean, hold on, I lied. I super lied. The raps in this album is amazing. I lied. The raps in this album. Call me if you
Probably
get lost.
yeah. Come when you get lost. That shit was fire. You know.
I'm sorry, Tyler. The raps on the raps
Yeah.
on this album is amazing. But to the point is right. It was rapping, right? When we talk about going into a different lane, right? Um, that was Tyler experimenting at the time, and everybody dug it. You know what I'm saying? To get into Pimp a Butterfly
Uh,
wasn't really experimenting. It's a jazz. Like I ain't really
yeah.
doing too much
Yeah.
experiment.
Yeah.
But
But putting jazz with hip hop, we haven't seen that in ages. I mean, at that point,
at that
and
point, yes.
yeah, it was so long, and it's not that it hasn't been done, but it was a great refreshing, sound with that, very,
And
very to
funk,
the roots.
and we have funkadelics. He opened
Yeah,
up with Clinton and everything like that. So,
exactly.
and I think
Like
um,
when you respect black culture and you like then like that album like like solidified him as our black artists of like extending the lineage of what we've seen in the past, almost like like taking it from the past and and remixing it to bring it to the future in a way that
he,
you respect the old.
he's Nas.
Yes, that's what
He's Nas
dead ass, bro. Section
and Jay
80.
Z
I keep telling
and
you,
Jay Jay Z.
Nas is my favorite. Yeah, true. Nas is my favorite rapper. And when I heard High Power, that was the first time I ever heard of Kendrick. High Power on Section 80. Or was
Oh,
that Untitled?
Michael Jordan was the first time I heard that nigga.
And I was
I
like, this guy sounds like Nas. I was already like, this guy sounds like Nas, and I was like, this guy's gonna be huge. And look at him now. Like when I heard him on High Power, I was like, this is something. It stopped me in my tracks. So he's a generational talent, and he's not gonna be everybody cup of tea though. And yeah, you're right. He is the Nas and to Drake's Jay Z. I don't know what you call J Cole. Is he common sense? What is he?
never niggas didn't want to rhyme like Common Sense. Actually, I got 5 mil and I ain't rap like Common Sense, nigga. That nigga Drake was trying to rap like Fonte. Niggas, honestly, if you go back and look at Lil Brother, niggas say Drake wanted to be Fonte and early Kendrick was Big Pooh. And if
I don't
you
know who Fontaine
take
and Big Pooh are.
from the group Lil Brother,
Oh,
that
I gotta go
if
listen
you
to
go
it.
back,
Yeah.
go back and listen to Lil Brother, and then you will hear Drake's cadence, you will hear Drake's punches, you will hear Drake's early Drake, right? And then so that's why they say it's a lot of cosplay and a little bit of Drake, but Drake almost, to my point, paid homage. Like he never not said that Fonte influenced him. He never not said that Joe Budden's influenced. He never not said that I might cry when Jay-Z died, nigga. I never did when Pac. I don't know this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always been like, yeah, I take these niggas' influence because they. So I look at that as Kobe chewing the gum like Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody ever really called Kobe a biter unless they were Kobe haters. And to your point, when Kobe stand up. I'm sorry, I don't really call myself a Drake stan.
I've never.
I'm a Kobe stan.
The only time I could criticize Drake for biting somebody's rap style was the Big Sean Super Duper flow. That's the only time I've seen him take somebody else's flow directly and not give him credit for it. But the Jay-Z, Joe Budden stuff, like I've never had a problem with that stuff. You told me Fonte, I need to look into that more. But yeah, I've never had a problem with that stuff. The more things are the stories of like the reference tracks being directly from somebody else, and I just gotta say, okay, you go about making your music a certain way that I gotta be honest about. I can't just like ignore that. If you have ghostwriters and all that stuff, I can't ignore it. But I'm not saying you don't write anything. I'm just saying that okay, that's another thing you use. But yeah, I think that he.
But when we say that then like when we do say that as it's not as you say, it's not a slight, but it is a slight. You say it if the music's good, the music's good.
Yeah,
right?
I think that he can take a song and he can make it better. Drake, I think absolutely. I think he can take somebody's song who they wrote words, and they wrote the hook and all
And
that stuff.
Jay-Z took Young Chris flow too, and then give Chris. And he what he did was he got Young Chris out of jail, so it's better than what Drake did to Big Sean. You know what I mean? He definitely. If you go back and listen to Blueprint 2, if you go back and listen
So
to
he took
Blueprint
his flow,
2,
but he got him out of jail too. So it's
respect the young.
fair exchange.
Hey, we get you out of jail about to cut what's up. You ain't never about to have a rapper career again. Okay. About to take these similes.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny as hell, bro. But yeah, I think we're at a point right now where I feel bad that we're now drudging up people's personal lives in the aftermath of the battle. Because I do think during the battle there are certain rules. It's like tribal combat. Like these are the rules. Like now we understand we're engaging in warfare. Once it's over and we say, hey, you know what? Please don't do any more disses. I'm good. All right, boom, then we're done. And since then, I think the Kendrick side of things and Kendrick fans have moved on. Granted, the guy won, and so they're not going to be, whining about something after you won. However, the Drake side of things, I feel like the academics had to want to find every kind of narrative to kind of spin and reclaim some type of.
That's coming from Drake. Yes, that's
yeah,
coming from Drake.
And
I think to the Stephen A. point, when he's getting talking points from the owners or ESPN or people who's paying him, like, will I use a media conglomerate? That's why will I use a media conglomerate to push a narrative? Like you said, I don't fuck with Stephen A. because he disparaged Colin Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? That Stephen A. was like, hey nigga, just go to the damn gym. How you move it? Why you move it? Like, do we even talk about why he moved it? Do we even talk about why Colin Kaepernick moved the thing 2 hours?
I think that
do we even talk about?
We haven't, because I think that he already explained it. He said that, listen, this is a reason. It's because mind you, he's in a lawsuit with them, right? This is for them to now say, oh, we gave him a chance. It's not a real opportunity. So he wanted to get it on his own territory. That was his interpretation of it all. This is not a real opportunity. This is performative because of the lawsuit, and I want to be able to control it and just have my own camera crew there so I can show people, hey, this is what I did, and should I be on a team or not? And I'm not saying that's the right way to go about it or not. I'm just saying that's why he did it. And I think that Stephen A. Smith, no, listen to the owners, listen to the people who are telling you what to do, even though you're in direct opposition of them. Or calling one of the neutral plays. Go ahead.
What? No, I'm saying, and it would. So I was just gonna just where you let me to. Would you say I don't think it's the right thing to do? Would you have said that?
It depends on what Colin Kaepernick really wanted, and I do think that if you wanted to show people, hey, listen, I can still spin this ball, then do it the way you wanted to. If you wanted to put yourself in a position where you're like, hey, I did everything they told me to do, and they still fucked me over, then go and try, and do it their way.
Isn't that how you win the lawsuit?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, respect.
I don't know that. I don't have all the information. I don't know what his lawyers.
I know, but I'm just outside looking in.
I think that's how you lose it. I think that it gives them more. I think doing that gives them more credibility. Like, hey, he's washed, and then they could say that he's washed. We gave it a chance, but nobody gets to see it. Nobody gets to.
But he can still bring his camera crew. You just don't have to move it. Like that's what I'm saying. Where was the comparable? Where that's where I'm speaking of, and I saw more Stephen A. than you do. Of course, you know that. Like in the compromiser, if we're going back and forth of the conversation with the NFL, if the executives are going to be there, head coaches are going to be there, camera crew. Can I bring my own camera? Can I bring my own quarterback coach? Can I bring my own receivers? Not day of I don't feel comfortable where it's at and I want to move it to a high school gym in Atlanta traffic, and like that's not how you like.
All right.
For him,
from what I'm saying here, it says that the scheduled tryout the Atlanta Falcons strangely collapsed in less than an hour before it was set to begin due to several disagreements. One was a liability waiver. The NFL required Kaepernick to sign a specific waiver. Kaepernick's legal team argued the document contained unusual clauses regarding employment rights that could potentially bar him from filing future collusion claims against the league. The NFL maintained that the document was standard waiver for all free agent combines. Media camera access. Kaepernick requested that the workout be fully transparent and open to the media and recorded by his own independent camera crew. NFL rejected this, citing that the event remained completely closed to the public and press, with the footage only distributed internally to the 32 teams. And then scheduling control. The NFL organized the workout on a Saturday, giving Kaepernick only 2-hour window to accept or reject it. Wow. His representatives argued that Saturday workout prevented a top general managers and head coaches from attending, as teams were traveling for games the next day. The league denied the request to move the session to a standard Tuesday off day. So that seems fair to me, considering that he didn't want to sign the waiver due to, the language. He wanted camera crew to make it, make it, open to the media. And then he also wanted to make sure the GMs and coaches could be there to see it instead of them taping it and then giving it to them,
I mean, that is fair. And to the point of that, to your point of, would that have benefited him to just go?
But you have people like Stephen A. Smith that will then blast him in the media for like not agreeing to this without giving the full context. So that's where it gets dicey, because it's like, dude, I want to like you. I tell you, he's hilarious. I want to like Stephen A. Smith because I do respect his hard work. I can never, even with Drake, if a guy does hard work, I respect that because I'm a hard worker. Like whenever I see somebody achieve something of excellence and go at a high level, I give the guy the props for getting up and doing the goddamn work. However, when you have certain moral, you like, it's not like Stephen A. didn't know this stuff, and the way you spin it as if like he didn't even want a real opportunity, he's making it like just a spectacle because he thinks he's like Martin Luther King or something like that. That's how he spun it, and I'm like, I don't think that's very fair. When I watch the coverage,
the way that it carried on, though, the coverage that he received, Colin Kaepernick did not want to receive it. someone in the crowd took a video of him kneeling, posted it, said he was being disrespectful, and it led to the controversy thereafter.
Yeah, he didn't. He
So he
didn't.
wasn't. He at
He
the
didn't
time
ask to be this guy. Like,
he
let's be
didn't ask.
real. He was his own type of,
And
you
to
know.
his point, he was not playing. He was injured. He was coming off injury, and when
And
he
he's a
did get
backup.
back in, he was not playing well. So they had leverage either way
100%.
to say
But he
that
still was young, and there were people who were way older than him who were also bad in the league.
which is
Similar to Cam Newton. Cam Newton could have played longer. Let's be real. But these guys get blackballed because they're a distraction, and we all know why. It's not just based off of talent. It's because you guys have personalities that go beyond the cookie cutter of what we want our organization to be. We are not going to stand for no Black Lives Matter stuff. Get out of here. You also, Kaepernick, you were just, we're not going to stand for a guy taking shot away from our top, our starting quarterback. Kaepernick being a backup still would get a lot of attention, but that's what he was fighting for. It wasn't like he was saying he had to be a starter. He's like, give me a job. I'm still good enough to be in the NFL at the time,
And I think too. I mean, look at I think what we're seeing in this current administration. It was the same administration back then. The power of where they align their power with, right? We look at the same people running ESPN was running ESPN. We talk about Bob Iger, right? We talk about the same people running NFL teams. Ain't no owner left the team since then. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, again, it's the same president, right? So when we're looking at why things were done and the manner of things of what they were done, I look at it where I think Brian Flores took a little bit from Colin Kaepernick, right? And he added his own twist. He was like, fuck it, I'm going to sue y'all niggas and I'm going to wait for some good person to bring me on. And I was
and he
Mike
has one
Tomlin.
of the best defenses in the league. So he's
Mike
definitely
Tomlin brought him
worthy
in
of a
first.
coach. Exactly.
Mike Tomlin brought him in first and
Exactly.
say
So
he's going to be.
that helped too because
That helped.
you just did that in Pittsburgh. Come over here and do it over here in Minnesota. Like that. And he might have been blackballed forever if it wasn't for another black man putting them on and saying, "No, we're going to have you on our squad."
And I mean, he was even. But the thing was, he was just hired as a consultant, if I remember, right? Like Mike Tomlin just wanted to get him back in the facility and let him know the fraternity is the fraternity. You're not going to be alone in this fraternity. I think when we're talking about Colin Kaepernick, it's 56 quarterbacks, correct? There's two on each. It's at least two on each team, right? There was no. Who was Colin Kaepernick's contemporary during that time frame?
What do you mean contemporary?
Any quarterback that stood up with him, any quarterback that said, bring him on my team, any quarterback, Russell Wilson, a motherfucking during that time.
Yeah, he was a senior defensive assistant on Pittsburgh, by the way, Brian Flores, and linebackers coach under Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Yeah. But now he's the defensive coordinator for Kevin O'Connell and Minnesota. He's been that way since 2023.
A defensive assistant. Okay, glorify whatever I just called him. Yeah, respect.
Consultant.
Yeah.
Respect. He was a linebackers coach, man. Linebackers is not just a consultant. Like, he's setting that shit up for them. But yeah. Back to what you're saying. Who's the contemporary of Colin Kaepernick at that time?
At that time, yeah, and the reason why I was just saying that is because the only reason why I would say the reason why I'm saying that is because
the Jets could have used him, man. I don't give a fuck at the time. I know the Jets could have used him. I mean, we had Sam Darnold at the time. I'll be real. Like Sam was still our young quarterback who we have faith in, but we could have definitely used a backup.
You could not have bringing Colin Kaepernick in New York. With the New York media, put in context of what we're saying right now. Like I know but context, you go from, we got this, it's still San Francisco, right? Like San Francisco ain't a big market. And we just can't get this motherfucker. Hell no.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I think San Francisco bigger market than most places. It's not like a Green Bay or Cleveland. I think it's a big city. You know, that's the tech center of the world. I know that doesn't mean that football is the biggest thing over there, but I know people in the Bay Area fuck with.
No, but if you use that now, if we dig deeper, the money behind there, like we don't know, like Colin Kaepernick did impact the amount of money that the kickback that the teams got from the rights because the ratings went down. You know what I'm saying? Like
He did
there
some
was
damage.
he did.
He did some damage, so I can tell they were mad. They definitely were like, niggas are not watching right now. What the fuck?
And to their point, they like, hey, nigga, like we go. The thing about it is, to your point, he wanted to play. But if you was gonna take the settlement anyway and do the NDA and not be seen and not tell your story anyway, you might as well have just. I get like
Does he even get the settlement if not for
I don't think so.
because the settlement just says that yeah we were blackballing. Just please go away. That's what that is. So that's and at some point it gets to the point where like yo your football dreams versus
We
the
don't want your
practicality.
money.
You know, just to come on, just to force your way onto a team that for a guarantee that's not guaranteed. Like we can cut you at a after training camp, like
OTAs. Yep.
OTAs.
Yep.
So all right, let me just get this bread. Let me move on with my life. So like I can't hold him. I can't blame him for that. But I have a lot of
But
respect for Colin Kaepernick for.
I would say if someone were to come after Stephen A. though, right? We seen Whitlock try to do it. We seen Michelle Beto try to do it. The thing about it is he kind of really has a lot of stuff on his side but people have tried to tear down Stephen A. to the point of not to the point of Charlemagne because he don't have that, but to your point of we don't like what you doing, nigga, and we don't like how you doing it. So either it's fuck Stephen A, B, whatever. It's either like, hey, during the Ray Rice thing, he said this and he did that. He got suspended from ESPN, or like
My thing is
they have been trying to dig up some shit on your boy.
My thing is people have had very close contact with this guy for years because they work with him, right?
Yes.
Some of them are hating for real. However, if it's like multiple people, like people I respect, like Kerry Champion, and then Jamel Hill, and then Nick Wright, who also is like, hey, listen, I'm not trying to kill the guy, but I don't like what he's doing right now. These guys are not the people I look at like, oh, they're just hating. I think they have some level of, yeah, I just don't like the way he goes about his business. And it's fair criticism,
Well, Kerry Champion's criticism, and I'll break them down. Kerry Champion was like, you got a lot of smoke for black people, but you never say nothing to no white folks, to your point. And so Stephen A said, okay, you want me to address Michelle Beto? Bet. About to tear this little white bitch down. He eviscerated that hoe. Oh my soul.
I didn't see it.
Nigga, he was like, to your point, the threats. He don't just do it to Jaylen Brown. He said, I know who your boss over there at FanDuel because gotta remember, FanDuel was his first sponsor when he first did the show. You know what I'm saying? He said, I said it to you, but he was like, okay, Kerry Champion, this is what you wanted? You wanted me to get in the mud, bitch? Oh, okay. Hey, Michelle Beto, you little bug-eyed bitch. You get fired wherever the fuck you go. Your daddy gave you your first gig at the San Antonio Spurs. Like, you have been given every opportunity.
Who's her dad?
Her dad was like some like oil guy in Texas or something like that who had like a relationship with the Spurs or whatever, and so that's how she got like a media relations job or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
At his finest.
Yeah. Little white bitch, nigga. So and Stephen A.
We gotta stop calling them bitches, bro. Like we gotta stop.
You're right. It's after midnight. Anything they say, nothing happens good after midnight.
It's Friday. It is after midnight. It's crazy.
Hey, it's after midnight. Hey, let's use a stereotype. I'm black. I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do.
Call Michelle Beto, bitch.
All right. She gonna come at me. You don't have no job. You're in your mother's basement. I'm actually in my garage. Not my
Listen,
mama
man.
garage. My garage.
Listen, man. We keep doing what we're doing now, not for long, bro. We gonna get you out of that garage, bro, real soon.
Or at least make the garage the studio. That'd be fine.
Yeah, you
We
know,
can we can keep it in the garage. At least make this.
for real.
But to the point, not but yes, I'm being facetious. But to the point, the Kerry champion is like, yes, hey, stop having smoke for Jasmine Crocker. Stop having smoke for, you know what I'm saying? And hey, you didn't get me that job there. And Stephen A was like, you're right, I didn't. But if I didn't tell Skip, yes, you wouldn't have been there. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have said that, but I don't know if she might have been aware of the. Yes, she did good. Yes, she was scouted. Yes, she was at the Golf Channel. Yes, she was. Yes, Kerry Champion did not. Stephen A. did not reach down and bring Kerry Champion up. I don't think that's what he implied, but that's what was being implied.
But he approved it.
And I think that matters.
I don't know. I think saying
That
I think
don't matter. That don't matter.
you have to approve somebody, right? At some point, right? So you chose her out of all of them, so I guess there's some credit there, right? But now years later, saying, "Well, I wouldn't," I could have not given you the job. I guess you're
That's not what he
right,
said.
but
What he said though.
what did he say?
No, at Kerry
He
Champion,
said
that's not what. No,
basically, if I didn't talk to Skip, you would have gotten the job, right? Just something like that.
well, I mean, yeah, yes. Skip did not want Skip did not want Kerry Champion. That was the reason why Kerry left the show.
Okay,
Kerry and Skip did not.
get along.
They not at all, at all. And if you go back and watch those shows, you can see that chemistry on screen of, hey, bitch, you just the moderator. And you get us in and out of the traffic jams. Like
I think
you
that
drive.
that was the peak of the show in Ghost 3, though. Like I thought that was the peak of the show. Kerry
You know why?
Champion.
Because Kerry Champion and Stephen A. both looked at that white man and said,
Oh man, yo, shout out to Kerry Champion, man. I used to think she was. I mean, she's still fine, but yeah, I was like, man, where did
and,
she
Ja-
come from?
and Jamel Hill, to her own credit, she came back and she responded and she was like, hey, I really didn't know why I was brought up by Kerry. Kerry, my dog. So I ride with it, but I didn't even need to be in this. She said, Stephen A. too powerful. Respect to you, big dog. You know what I'm saying? Jamel Hill
man.
don't. Jamel Hill ain't want
No smoke.
No smoke. But to the Nick Wright point, to the media wars, to the Nick Wright point, let's go to that. Nick Wright is, we talk about puppeteering and having a narrative and who pushes what and everything like that. There is legitimately a side in everything. I know we don't, in basketball, in the NBA, there's a CAA side, there's a Clutch Sports side. Those are agencies. Okay? That is, the CAA is where Nick Khan came from. CAA is where is the New York Knicks. It's Leon Rose. It's Sam Rose. It's Worldwide West. That's CAA. That's the power broker. Rich Paul used to be an intern for CAA. He left. LeBron James was originally under CAA. When Rich Paul left and started his own agency, Clutch Sports Agency, he took LeBron James. LeBron James and Clutch are LA based. CAA is New York based. There is a divide. There is a clear and so when we talk about media
Man,
personalities,
it's crazy right now. Especially just America right now. I know I'm not trying to go, but everything is divided. Doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if you're into gaming, if you're into movies, if you're into music, if you're into sports. There's a divide everywhere, bro. You cannot be on one side of the fence. Oh, you cannot be in the middle. You gotta be on one side of the fence, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. shit, Nick Wright, requesting an apology from this nigga, like, you know,
Yes, he requested apology because, as I was saying, so just so I know that I'm not, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Greeny, who's the highest paid, who was at one point in time, I believe. Let me share this screen. Greeny, Mike Greenberg, who is the host of Mike, who was the co-host of Mike and Mike, and was and is of Get Up, is represented by CAA. Okay, so when we talk about a narrative being pushed on LeBron at ESPN all the time, A, he brings ratings. B, we will always put some type of tinge on how great he is. He's great. But how great? And
God,
you can see that with now the programming of television. So when we have Stephen A. Smith, who is now taken over as the voice of ESPN, and now he has this perpetual thing of against LeBron James, that media's member against LeBron James. Nick Wright seems to be that media member for LeBron James. Nick Wright, LeBron's the greatest player I've ever seen. It's better than Michael Jordan.
Who's against again?
Stephen A. is against LeBron James. Nick
But
Wright
Stephen A. Who represents him?
William Endeavor, I believe. Ari Emanuel.
And then Nick Khan is no.
Nick Khan used to be Greeny's agent. Nick Khan used to be Mike Greenberg's agent.
All right.
So they are all connected. They are all connected. Now I don't know who Nick Wright is represented by. I can look that up quick. But to the point of what I was saying is that, so when I said that Nick Wright is upset about how Stephen A. uses his platform and how Stephen A. Is doing using his platform. Oh shit! Would you look at that? Guess who Nick Wright is represented by?
CAA?
No.
Rich
Boy,
Paul?
he represented by Clutch. Yes, he is.
Who's Clutch?
Clutch Sports is Rich Paul.
Okay.
Sports television personality and analyst Nick Wright is represented by sports agency Clutch Sports for his media career and broadcast negotiations.
Okay.
So, as Stephen A. Smith is what happened with Stephen A. Smith and Nick Wright is that when Stephen A. Smith said that, "Hey, Jaylen Brown, do you really want me to get into this? Do you really want me to start reporting?" Nick Wright came on his platform and said, "Hey, Stephen A., you sounded like a mob boss. We played that clip yesterday." And he said, "You're the only person doing this, right?" That was the first comment. Stephen A. had replied to that. I don't think we ever played that Stephen A. Smith reply. Stephen A. Smith reply to that was very much upset and disappointed at Nick Wright because
what does Nick Wright want an apology for?
This is what I'm about to get to.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith implied in the response, "Hey, I know who your crew is. I know what y'all group chat about." And so Nick Wright is saying, "You're implying that because my relationship with these people makes me biased to how I see you and my opinion of you?" And Stephen A's like, yeah, I do believe that your agency of Rich Paul and Maverick Carter and your infatuation with LeBron James absolutely does taint your opinion about how I talk about LeBron James and how I'm talking right now as a mob boss, right? So Nick Wright wants an apology from Stephen A because he believes that Stephen A inaccurately and misrepresented his relationship, and he believes that it's a fabrication of which Stephen A gets his information from and how he perceives it. If you're looking for that clip, I can grab it for you. Give me 1 second. I got Nick's right. I got Nick Wright. I got Nick Wright joint right here in this. You got it?
People can learn from. A lot of Stephen A that I think is admirable and young people can learn from. But these last few years, where he has convinced himself, it appears, that we, the commentariat, we, the critics, we, the people who give opinions on the actual games, are equal stars and equal of importance to the people who are playing the actual games is delusional.
Huh?
That's not the apology, but that's where he critiqued it.
Okay, let me I think this is it. It is what it is. I'm so tired. Okay, that's the apology. I mean, that's the that's the original.
Time the last 3 weeks. We've all done standing.
Got it. I got it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Was him saying that there was something more nefarious afoot is a flat-out 100% fabrication. And so here's the request, and I mean this one. I would like an apology or a retraction or a clarification. But what's not going to happen here is utter and complete fantasy about how and why I do what I do.
You serious?
Watch it.
Yes. Really is.
More?
Cleveland.
Watch
And
this.
the East is much weaker.
And there is a storybook aspect to it. You wouldn't look like a mercenary because it's your hometown. There's a lot of things. And I will say this again. I know Rich. I vaguely work with Rich. I have massive respect for him.
Stop. What do you mean by that?
He's a really bright guy, and he's on First Things First, which I think airs right about now on Fox Sports. Matter of fact, he's actually repped by Clutch Sports. He's actually repped by Clutch Sports.
I know Rich. I vaguely work with Rich. I have massive respect for him.
You got bought?
No, what's your? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So when one of my contemporaries tries to mention me as a mobster, that I'm coming across as a mobster, he knows better. You can, once you figure out who I'm talking about, you can gauge his motives. He should be ashamed of himself. But I'll leave it alone and let him hang out with his crew. And he knows that I know who they are. Okay? The point that I'm making is that it's not me being a mobster. It's me highlighting that we all, as reporters, have access to an abundance of information, whether it's through players, coaches, executives, owners, agents, or even other journalists. Y'all got a community of people y'all communicate with as players, past, present, and future. What makes you think journalists don't have that? You think I can't pick up the phone and call a beat writer that used to cover the Washington Wizards? You think I don't know who used to cover the team?
So that little jab at Nick Wright, insinuating, I know your crew, I know who you hang with, I know that there has to be a narrative, a message, a something. That there's no way that you are on a competitor of ESPN or Fox, you're a contemporary of me, and you are repped by, again, the competitor of where my people's from. So this goes back to the Act and Drake shit. I'm a ride for Greeny. That's my nigga. We on ESPN together. We get money together. We break bread together. Nigga, what you mean? Nigga, I'm riding with Greeny, cuz. Nigga, I'm riding with Nick. I'm riding with Ari. Them niggas just bless my pockets. Nigga, what you talking? You like that? So with that analogy of,
I pray for the day where people are taking shots at us like this, so we can just go back and forth and make money. All right, not too bad. I hope it's not too bad, guys. God, like make it light work, please. I'm not trying to expose us like Charlemagne over here. But Nick, if we get Media Wars, man, I get it. This is the economy, bro. This is the media economy. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right now. That's why I'm saying that. Like I'm saying, it's like this is fun. This is not like. Listen, you beat your wife, and or you know you raped.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Or,
Yeah,
you
jacket because shit came out. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I don't think that work should go that far. Put it that way. And whether you're a rapper, whether you're a media personality, I think that you should leave personal shit out of it. Unless somebody gets personal with you, then maybe you go back at them. I mean, you know, but I do think that.
I'm sorry.
So everything I think right now with the Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith stuff, I think it's all fair game. I think it's all fair game. I can't even be mad at Stephen A. Smith, Nick Wright. I think everything they said about each other is fair game, bro. Like, I think both sides have a point.
Especially knowing everybody has money involved. Everybody has money involved. Like it's not the fact that Wright is tapped. So when we mentioned the Kerry Chamberlain, we mentioned the Jamel Hill, we mentioned Nick Wright against Stephen A. or Jason Whitlock in there. I don't think he really has done anything bad other than say, I'm gonna get the bag before you. And niggas don't really like that. I mean, hold on. Let me not simplify it.
Okay.
In the manner of which you do it. Because again, Jamel Hill was not. It wasn't like she was like, "I'm gonna leave ESPN." They fired her. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I'm a. But when she has the 6 o'clock Sports Center, and they ask her, "Hey, don't talk about Trump," and I know he's involved in sports, but nigga, you have the creative license to not bring him up, and our ratings is going down because you keep bringing this nigga up. I need you as the company. We have to buy. He's the president. This like the company is kowtowing to the right, and so she's like, "I'm gonna be the person." I don't think that was her job to do that. To me, I think you sacrifice.
I think that you got to make a choice.
I know, but she didn't just.
And here's the thing: me and you were two different TV people, you know, and I look at it differently. I genuinely believe. I don't like count on period. If I believe something, I should be able to say it, even at my job. You know, I wore to a light Rosa Parks nah shirt. You know, like that shirt that it's a quote
Yeah.
and it's like nah. And I saw the reactions, I saw the looks, and I saw people who supported it. You know, who like yo, I love that shit. You know, it's almost I do like kind of being a disruptor only because I
Well,
like to be my full self as a
but if a
black
light,
person with black
if a,
opinions with black feelings. You know, and I think that
hold
we
on,
should be in the workplace and be able to do that. But go ahead.
if a light told you not to wear that sweater, would you have wore it?
They told me not to wear that sweater. Would I have wore
Yeah,
it? They
that's what I'm.
wouldn't have they wouldn't have. Here's the thing: if they told me not to,
That's the hypothetical.
I probably would have a problem with it. Yeah, I probably. I'm not now. I'm not saying I would warrant my. I'm smart. I'm smart. So I probably would find a way to cause a problem, of like whether it be calling a organization to sue them for wrongful termination or like that kind of shit. Because if you say be yourself, be your that's what their tagline was. Be express yourself, be yourself, and all. Like all right, bet I'm gonna be myself.
Well,
You
the
know.
only reason I'm asking that is because, like, okay, they like, and I don't know if I am speaking out of ass as to the full, but I think it's around the lines of, hey, easy on the political stuff. It's hurting the ratings. We don't really need that. You got the 6 o'clock Sports Center. 6 o'clock Sports Center is just to get to the game. That's what we do. That's your job.
Yeah, but her and Michael Smith were both very opinionated on how they felt about certain things going on
Correct.
politically.
And
And when it's time to cut, might be one of the first people to go because we're trying to get away from that, And I do think there's a time and place for it, though. There's a time and place to just talk about the game, but there is a time and place within sports media to talk about what's going on politically, depending on what's going on, So
But they have the His and Hers podcast. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we have other avenues. That's what I would be mad. That's what I'm trying to say. I would be mad.
Okay.
Me knowing you, we got the 6 o'clock Sports Center. I'm with you. Me and you are pro-black.
But
I'm
did she
with
do
you.
it on Sports Center though, or did she do it on His and Her? That's my thing. I don't think she
No,
disobeyed them.
no. The thing was, I think the main stickler was, hey, podcast is kind of where you have the leniency.
Go there and get your shit on.
Don't do it on the Sports Center. Don't do it at the S. They were the new rollout. If you go back and remember, the new rollout, the new Sports Center SC at 6, when they are making the cuts already, and we're looking at ESPN a little crazy. They're cutting people just to give people this enormous salary and put people in position. Michael Smith and Jamel Hill were elevated, I believe, during that time, right? So, like, we're trying to make this work. It's difficult, yes. You guys have a life outside of work. We understand that. The company is saying just not from 6 to 7.
And did she disobey that?
I believe she did bring politics back up after it was asked not to do so. Or they had asked them with the set that they had was a lot of pro-black stuff in their background of like Rosa Parks fist, or Rosa Parks pictures or fist, or the Martin series or whatever the case may be. They asked
on Sports
them,
Center.
I believe it was on a Sports Center set. I believe so, yes. Because they tried to mimic His and Hers as much as possible over to Sports Center. But Sports Center, again, was a lot broader, right? So, like, you have to appeal more than just to your niche fan base audience.
Got some information for you.
Okay.
It says her conflicts with ESPN management involved off-air segments rather than on-air disobedience. She posted a series of tweets calling Donald Trump a white supremacist. In 2017, while ESPN did not fire her, they issued a public apology acknowledging that her comments painted ESPN as in an unfair light. All right, she was suspended for 2 weeks following the second violation of network social media guidelines. She tweeted at the Dallas Cowboys fans to boycott the team's advertisers in response to owner Jerry Jones stating he would bench any player who knelt during the national anthem. And then the departure in 2018 was amid the fallout from these controversies, declining their ratings for a specific format. She stepped down from anchoring SportsCenter and transitioned to writing for The Undefeated. before ultimately leaving the network entirely. So it really was her own place to where she got her own shit off on her own platform, which is Twitter.
Well, when you are, so this goes back to now. Shout out to, so now we about to ride into the license. When you are Jamel Hill and your Twitter says Jamel Hill, whether it say Jamel Hill ESPN or just Jamel Hill, you are Jamel Hill of ESPN. So whatever the hell you tweet is of a representation of the company.
Now, granted, I hear you, but in my world, in my opinion, that's not fair. In my opinion, and you, do you think that's fair?
Yes.
Woo! Okay, let's talk about it.
That's why when you
That to
apply
me,
for a
to me,
job,
to me, that
that's
means
why
that.
when you apply for a job, you lock your Twitter.
But that to me, that means to me that they own you, and you're okay with it.
No, you're being leased.
Your life is being leased, bro.
Bro. If I go out as an ESPN,
you're buying my talents as a sports broadcaster. Man,
okay. I'm not even gonna do Jamil Hill. I'm gonna use something that just happened. Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez was a Fox game caller. He calling games.
But he went to jail.
But what? Okay.
You know what I mean?
All I'm saying. Well, okay, yeah. Okay. What I'm saying is, off the clock, he went and got pissy drunk. Let's take off the jail out of it. I'm just saying, if he got arrested for disorderly conduct, no punching, no pissing on nobody, he was just pissy drunk and he was outside and he threw up on a cop's foot and the cop got mad and arrested him. I'm making a hypothetical based off of the fact of when you put yourself in a situation where
I hear you. I do. I want to follow you, bro. I really do. But it's not the same thing. And first of all, he did get arrested for assaulting somebody. So that's, I mean, you're creating a different era. But if he wasn't, let's say if he wasn't on his own time, you still got arrested for disorderly conduct. That's conduct, whatever, just not representing our company, which is, it is what it is. You shouldn't be getting drunk. Our people should not be getting drunk and getting arrested. We don't want that behavior represented because you're a public figure. However, Jamila Hill's opinion on her own Twitter is part of her freedom of speech. It's not like she went out and broke a law. That's where it gets a little bit dicey for me.
But to okay, so to your point, and I hear you when you said Abdul Carter, he didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. Jackson Dart, he didn't do anything wrong.
They shouldn't be fired.
But I didn't say she wasn't fired because of that. They asked her
They shouldn't be suspended. She got suspended.
Hold on. But if it's in your if you signed the contract and it's in your contract, my nigga, abide the contract.
But she's not on your TV show saying these things.
If the contract of your social media is an extension of your presence, of you being a company person, that is fair. That is fair. If your social media, because your opinion you can have an opinion okay, let's say
I get it. If you signed it and you're cool with it, then yes, I get you abide by the network guidelines for social media. But I'm just talking about, like real talk. That is you signing away your freedom of speech. And hey, we know that, and we can be honest about that. That's what it is. That means that you can see things in the world now. And because you have a job at ESPN, you can't say nothing about it. It doesn't matter if people are getting killed in the street. It don't matter if Donald Trump is a freaking monster. It doesn't matter if Gary Jones is a fucking racist. You can't say nothing and use your platform on your own platform that you created on Twitter to say your opinion.
I just brought it up to bring it back full circle to Stephen A. Smith. Yes, he bit the bullet, abided his time, restructured the contract so the language is different to have a freedom of speech. And I know that may sound like what it sounds like to you, because you'll call me whatever you're gonna call me.
I'm not gonna call you
But my
anything.
kids, but
But if that's what you
he,
think is proper, then that's how you look at it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not again. Proper is what, again, Scottie Pippen was told not to sign the deal. The owner himself, who's cutting the check, said, Scottie, don't sign this deal. I'll give you more money. Scottie looked at his people in Arkansas. He looked at that $30 million, signed the deal. He went and balled out and went and asked for a renegotiation. Jerry Krause said, are you dumb? I told you don't sign it. I don't renegotiate. Your contract is your contract. So what I'm saying is, in the history of whatever them white motherfuckers put in that fine print and your motherfucking ass put in that signature, yes.
But what if she had no choice? Like, social media became more prominent, during the 2015, 16, 17. And what if they came up one day, hey, everybody, we're changing our policy? Maybe she was hired for years already by that point, and they're like, hey, we're changing our policy. This is what it is now.
We get updated policies with Google all the time, and we never read them, and that's why they got our info. And we be like, well, we didn't sign up for that when we first signed up for our Gmail. Yeah, them updated policies that we just fucking clicked through and said, I accept. That's exactly what that contract is.
Yeah.
That's
so my point is
exactly
that if you sign into if you get hired by a job and they update the policies, like, year fucking 5 that you've been working with them, and you're now dealing with this new thing called social media, and you're now in a position where it's like, damn, I can't speak, like, So what I look at this as is a veiled way of silencing,
but Chidi, but let me
and controlling the media. It's not true media at that point,
Let me just give you this. Before that policy was updated, it was the wild, wild west on social media, correct? Okay. Jamel Hill also said, I like R. Kelly music on her Twitter while she was employed.
That's right. I do too.
Okay. What I'm saying is, now, with her knowledge of social media and her change of life and ideology and probably her employer, guess what she will not tweet?
Well, it's not really relevant.
I mean, the relevancy
is she didn't change. Like, she didn't just stop liking the music. Like,
the relevancy is the wild, wild west of what I tweet, of what I was able to do and who I was able to be. The companies did not have an infrastructure in place to differentiate themselves for when somebody said some wild shit and they was employed by me. Right, so I gotta do a whole bunch of statements as ESPN and say, "Hey, the thoughts and ideas and the likes of motherfucking Jamel Hill don't reflect the company of one." You know what? We just gonna update this motherfucking policy, and everybody who got social media, nigga, it belong to us until you leave this contract. Okay. And I would say and to that point and during that time of 2017, 2018, we know absolutely Jamel Hill's fans that follow her came through the veil, like you say, or the umbrella of probably what of ESPN. So ESPN is looking at, I was like, the popularity in the social media platform that you have is based off the springboard that I gave you. So I should be able to have so let's move into the Gilbert Arenas thing. Gilbert Arenas grew the Gil's Arenas channel by himself. He grew it. He had, I think he got up to 1 million subscribers. And then a company, Underdog, came in and said, I want to sponsor it. I want to put the money up for it. I want to be able, and Gil said, fuck it, I'll lease it. And at the end of the lease, I'll sell you the channel, but I want my naming rights back. Right? So there's no problem. It's running. Everybody's good. Gil's Arenas made them Underdog sponsor. Whoop, 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 until Gilbert gets in trouble on his own time. Gilbert gets arrested. Charges drop. Even though he got arrested, right? Nothing happened. It wasn't no assault. Wasn't no battery. Wasn't no domestic violence. Wasn't no nothing. It was a misunderstanding He got arrested, big hoopla. But during that time, during that ambiguity, we saw that the company made a distinct switch and say he is probably a liability to the branding of what we got going on. We started to see a name change, a logo change, a font change. Gilbert then started not to be appearing on the show as much. So I'm making the equivocation of when you enter a partnership with a company and you do something that can probably impact the company is always, despite of your freedom of speech, despite of your First Amendment rights, despite of even you have an ownership stake in a company, they're always going to put themselves in the company first. And I think during this time of, I don't believe Jemele Hill should have been.
But Donald Trump is a white supremacist, though. Like,
okay.
And Jerry Jones, man, telling people that you gotta, like, you know, fire them if they kneel. It's fucked up, you know. And I think she should be able to voice that. Like, and that's why I hear where you're coming from like the corporate perspective, and you might be 100% right, though, dog. I'm not even trying to hold you, bro. But on a real human level, we're being silenced because we have to make money. Like, this is capitalism. Like, you know, this goes back to those conversations that we had. Like, she's been silenced because she has to make money, and then they just kind of throw her in the background until we can fire you. You know, so like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. You know,
I mean, but those. I mean, and if we can extrapolate it and be smart about it, those NFL sponsors that she's telling the fans to boycott might be ESPN sponsors, maybe Disney sponsors that help pay the check. What we're doing, maybe fight the like. I get it,
no,
but there's a hole to that.
But here's the thing: you're putting the money before. This goes back to that. You're putting the money before the principle. I like Jemele Hill because she puts the principle before the money, and she speaks truth to power. You know, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I respect that. You know, and she made her choice. You know, and I respect that, and that's why I can sit here and say I don't respect Stephen A. Smith for how he does things.
Let me ask you a question. I'm not trying to pin you. I'm not trying to do anything like that. Just being honest. Have you followed or do you follow what Jemele Hill is doing right now?
Every now, yeah, I mean, I don't follow a lot of people on sports media,
Not
but I
follow.
do.
Do you listen? Do you like know what she's what she?
I
Do you
brought
know
her to the Jackson Dart stuff to this pod. Yeah, I watched her stuff. I mean, her stuff does come in my feed. Like I whenever I do see her, I see her. I don't like, you know, chase it down. But then again, I don't chase down Stephen A. Smith either. But you know, I don't listen to him while I'm washing dishes. I don't. I might listen to somebody else. You know, I might listen to music. I might be listening to freaking. I listen to more Jets content creators. If she's talking about the Jets, maybe I would. You know, so that's just me. You know, but I'm not saying that she has no motion because I don't see her all the time.
No,
but I do see her every now and then, and I do follow. And I do get her
I'm not
opinions
saying
on
that.
things.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying her speaking truth to power. I think it is and would be more impactful if it was able to like.
No, explain that word real quick because I really want you to follow that. It would be more impactful if she was able to what exactly?
You don't like it, so it don't even matter.
No, it doesn't matter if I don't like it. I want to hear what you gotta say. Like
play you like you.
And move your camera up a little bit, like bend the laptop.
You unpack more. You unpack more bees with honey than vinegar, right? That's what they say. I think.
So how should she do it? How should she get her message out that Donald Trump was a white supremacist within the framework of ESPN? With if that's her truth, how? What's the best way to go about that?
if you have the availability, even though it will have to be through loopholes. You will have to privatize. You will have to
There's no
private.
way. There's no way to do it, really. You know.
You have to, I mean, the reason why I say it is no way, because there have been ways, like
who's done it the best way in your opinion?
Michael Wilbon.
Okay.
Michael Wilbon and him and Tony Kornheiser don't run from no smoke when it comes to what they feel.
And do you think that they had more of an effect than Jemele Hill?
But I will say they were the first watchdogs to be bought. They were writers for the Washington Post that, again.
So you're saying be bought but still have your voice? How do you do that? There's no way.
Why there's no way why is there no way and Nick Wright has a way? Why there's no way? Like, you can do it and it not be in a negative connotation. Like, you can still have, like, you can when you can do it in
there's no way to be unapologetic about
okay,
it.
it's not okay. So because there's no way to criticize the president under the guise that if the company says you can't criticize the president, there is no there.
Unless the president is warranted to be criticized, you know, because he's doing things that are genuinely against certain people, you know.
So
but the company's more concerned with the money and the relationships. I'm more concerned about the principle. What the fuck do I do?
This is why I say now. This is again. Abdul Carter said what he said.
Respect.
He said what he said, and at this point, he also said, "I know what it is with people who support it. I treat them for. I'm still gonna come to work, do my job, but I know what it is with all y'all, including my owner, my coach, and my quarterback. Nigga, that's all the positions of power. But guess what he don't do? He don't compromise. He said what he said. Niggas know where he stand. And he said, don't want to go back and forth and repeat myself again. Hey, Jemele Hill, you said the president's a white supremacist. You said it once. We know where you stand. You're that person. Why do it again?
Well, she didn't do that again.
She didn't do it again. She did the
Jerry Jones just boycott that because that shit's racist. That shit it's so tone deaf. You know, okay, maybe don't say racist because I know that's your guy. You know, but that is like, yo, if I think that
I was wearing my CD Lamb jersey today on my mama, but I said
you know, listen, but at the end of the day, if you're a rich white man telling people that you can't kneel or else you're fired, that's like some slave master shit, bro. Your freedom of speech is like taking a knee shouldn't ruin your entire organization, honestly.
But why would Jemele Hill again
say boycott their advertisers? Because that's how you affect the money. That's how you affect the minds. We talked about it the other day. They gotta feel it before they change. You know, like, you know, they gotta feel like, you know, like just like we feel it, they gotta feel it too.
But this is
especially during that time, you know, like we were like real on some shit like, no, let's not watch the NFL. And I didn't watch it for 2 years.
This is what what did change and what will change? Will you watch it this year? No, we didn't watch it because it was the president and and we saw how the billionaires act when our president is involved and everything like that.
No, you are completely right. I think that we have to get back on that, you know, of like, you know, not watching the NFL and to some degree, especially if there's more overt disregard of what's going on with this administration, overt disregard.
Maybe as overt as 2017. She said white supremacists 7 years ago. Nigga, I was like, I don't know what's more overt than 2017 when she said white supremacists. Like it wasn't the grabbing by the pussy. It wasn't misogyny. It was as what it is right now as it was back then. It's just multiplied because he's emboldened.
And a part of the problem is Jay-Z. You know, let's be real. That whole thing where you said that people defend Jay-Z, people defend Jay-Z, oh, I still don't think they defend him as much as Drake, but people defend Jay-Z. I still think that plays into the fact that people will follow the leader
Yeah.
and
No,
say,
we
okay,
overlooked
you're
it.
cool with NFL, I'm cool with it. Oh, you can get
No,
this Super Bowl halftime show. Okay, I'll watch now. Rihanna's gonna be there. Okay, I want to see it. I want to see it. And then it just kind of like just really does docile the motion and
but
it kind of rockabye babies the black community into saying,
I mean, but
hey,
even look at
they're
Kendrick.
trying. They put choose.
Kendrick plays a part in that now too, as well, right? Like if we're talking about
No, hundred
and
percent,
coming
100%.
together,
Yeah,
like you know what I
but
mean? Like
but
if
but but I'm talking about back then. Talking about when it
oh
started.
yes,
The shift.
yes,
You know,
yes,
um, I do think that it plays a part into the increase in ratings. It's this partnership with Rock Nation and the Super Bowl and being a good gesture. Then the whole anti, choose love, not hate, and racism stuff that they did. Now all that shit's gone. So that was just for a couple of years, and they now have gone past that. And now Trump is back in office, and they removed all that and racism shit. So yeah, maybe we should be on that timing. Let's be real. Let's call a boycott to the NFL right now. How about
I
that?
mean, once a nigga say we pass kneeling, right?
Some people
When
took
and
that as a real demarcation. Go
not,
ahead.
on top of this is what I'm trying to say, and to connect the dots. When Jerry Jones say "Don't kneel, you gonna be fired," and Jay Z say "We pass kneeling," then why would any black player kneel? Why would any black player
Because they were told
kneel?
not to.
We were told not. I mean,
Hmm.
on both sides. Hey,
Hmm.
don't do it or you gonna get fired. And it ain't cool no more, nigga. We good. So Jamel Hill risking herself. That goes back to my thing. Jamel Hill risking herself to say boycott anybody, fans boycott for what Jerry Jones said. It's already in the works of again. It don't. She was part of the 50% she was part of the less of the 50% who pressed the blue button during that time. She, for humanity, did not secure herself, right, and say, niggas gonna follow me with this. And her bosses was like, bitch, are you dumb? This red button right here. You didn't press it with me? He's already in office.
Yeah, you're on the inside. You're part of the club, man. We got you.
Like,
Don't say that. Don't say that stuff, and we got you.
we
We'll
got
give
you.
you
Like,
a raise. We'll give you another show.
we'll get you on the back end, cause like,
Yeah.
bro, like we're promoting you. Hey, we know that he is bad for your people, but
So
we're
what?
going to promote you and put you at 6 o'clock.
But
Can you rock with that?
we'll be good with you. How about that?
Yeah.
You'll be a house nigga essentially.
Hey, hey, what
Let's be
we'll
real.
say,
The analogy works. You're on the inside. Tell us what's going on the outside. Don't talk too much. Don't talk against us. Don't do any rebellion, and then we're good. Even though there's more of you than us, like just no rebellion stuff. Okay, please.
well, I mean, if
We're good
we take
masters. We're not bad masters. We're not.
if we take that approach, that is absolutely right. Everybody who goes against the grain is someone who's not controlled in a sense, because everybody who goes with the get along has a check that they're trying to
Secure.
continue to secure.
Yep.
And Gilbert Arenas with his situation is when he sold his channel and leased out his name. When they took his name off of it or took him off the show, that was their form possibly of silencing him. He bit that. He ate that. Because at the end of the contract, I now own 100% of a channel that I'm about to just redo again. You can have the old channel. I sold that. That's you. That's yours. Got that. And we watched What Love Got to Do with It. A terrible story, terrible tragic story.
Damn.
But Ike Turner said, "Hey, the name stays here. Anyway, the name stays here. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you people will take the licensing of the silencing.
Yeah.
People will take the licensing of the silencing if they have a bigger plan on the back end. Because if we're being real about it, if Jamel was, if she was ahead of her time and like Stephen A, and she was able to identify that, hey, I got renegotiations coming up. Maybe I might not want to stay with a company who don't value my opinion, or I might want to renegotiate and put someone, hey, you have to value I want the Jamel Hill podcast where I could talk about politics. Maybe she could have been the first straight shooter. We never know if you don't stick it out and don't always,
But stick it out means silence.
Correct.
And that's the thing. While something's happening right now. Yeah, right now you're seeing somebody down the street suffering because the people that pay you are causing it, and you gotta be like, oh man, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll help you out later. Just let me renegotiate, and that's what you're asking her to do.
Damn, you make me feel like a bad person, bro.
I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that's what.
No, I'm saying because in real life, in that analogy, I'll see somebody on the street, and at that time, either I'm in a rush, I don't really got it, but I know I'll probably have, what I got is not what I need to give you right now. You know what I'm saying? But I know that when I come back this route, I do got you. You know what I'm saying? Like that do be real. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when I come back this route, my intention is to come back and get you. I may have missed the boat and you already gone, but my intentions are always to double back.
And the intentions are good. The intentions are good. The action is better, and that's what all it comes down to. The intentions are good. Like if you have good intentions, I think that's worth something, 100%. But the actions go way further, and I think Jamel Hill has carved out a lane for herself. She has her audience, and I rock with her, man. So I think she don't gotta be as big as Stephen A. Smith. I think this is more important than she does, honestly.
I would love for I'm gonna be honest. I would love for her to be more present.
I would love for her to be more present too. I would love for her to come on our show. I want to manifest that. If we can get Jamel Hill on here and talk to her about some stuff, I think it's possible one day. Because I do think she's like a really wise person who's tapped in. She's always tapped in.
And the reason why I bring that in and because as tapped in as she is in the time now, Le Batard is like, yeah, I'm with DraftKings, who I partner with because my voice is important, especially as a Cuban American. And at certain times, I don't be hearing him talk as loud as he needs to because I don't know where DraftKings aligns themselves. DraftKings is a publicly traded company. You dig? You know what I mean? Like, so when we speak about, because I'm like, shit, she can get on Metal Art, but to the point of Pablo Torre, he licensed himself out to Metal Art and to The Athletic, and he does investigative journalism, and his voice is powerful for a Pulitzer Prize. So I don't think that is not possible for Jamel to follow the path. I don't want to say follow the path, but be a beacon of her own path. I would like to. I think her show is called Politics, which is I love her. Horrible name. Horrible name. And I don't know if that does us any good for getting her on here, but we might need to workshop that. Maybe that's why ain't nobody finding the show. Because I ain't gonna hold you. Wifey said it's hard finding everything is. You know what I'm saying? Which, we're working through that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but you gotta put everything as podcast for us to come up. That's just weird. We're getting blackballed.
Do you think we might need to change our name?
We might.
Change our name to Everything, because is Everything Podcast taken on YouTube?
No, it's not. Everything is podcast is not.
Okay, so let's make that switch. Everything is podcast.
Yeah. But Jamel, she's on CNN. She's doing her, her shit, man. I see her popping up places. She's her own thing is like she's now getting invited to CNN to debate, and she was on a Cam show. So, man, I fuck with her, man. She's doing her thing.
I definitely fuck with her and Carrie Champion actually do the show together. If I'm not do the show together.
Okay. Quick question. What is Pablo Torre? Is he Mexican? Is he Filipino? What is he?
He's Filipino. He's Filipino.
Okay.
Filipino. Yeah, him and Mina, my Filipino people.
Mina? Yeah, I like Mina. Mina Kimes.
Yeah, Mina Kimes.
I didn't know she's Filipino. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm gonna subscribe to her.
Yeah, and Jamel Hill, you know why she didn't want to fuck with Stephen A. and rock the boat? Guess who she managed by? William Endeavor.
William Endeavor. Okay. William, holla at us.
Oh my. They manage everybody. I won't never say nothing about Stephen A. Hey, no, manage me. He be talking about Stephen A. I got it.
Yes. Or how about you go to William Endeavor, I'll go with
and I'll go to Clutch.
We're gonna get a bag on both sides. It's Rashad McCants out the mud.
Hey, we out with that, man. We out, man.
Word up, bro. It's been Media Warfare Part 2, guys. Long episode. Every Friday is gonna be like 2 seconds. Like we got a lot to say once we start chopping it up. Honestly, here's what I want to do for the fans, for the viewers. I think that we put us together quite a saga over the past 2 days. I think I'll do the segment. I want to cut up everything that we talked about with Jalen Brown leading into the conversation with Nick Wright and Stephen A. Smith as one full wrapped up video. So we have a timeline essentially of what's been going on with the media warfare on that part, and then we can we do the other stuff. But thank you guys.
We're gonna make Charlamagne his own.
His own thing. Yeah, but so I got to go through the whole thing and find the pieces where we kind of jumped around. But with all that being said, keep loving your heart first. Keep it in your heart's head, as we know we all need it in this trying times. And everything is everything. We'll be back to Monday. We'll be back on Monday with more conversations on everything that matters. See y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace.
If you made it this far, you are a real one. Thank you. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more daily content from your boys from Everything Is.